is brought to you by McDonald's. Try the new Quarter Pounder burgers, available only at McDonald's. By Ford, official truck of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Go to neighborhoodfordstore.com to learn about the toughest truck, toughest team sweepstakes. By PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. And by Treasure Hunt, paying the most for your gold, silver, jewelry, coins, and diamonds.
Welcome back, everyone. We are live at Heinz Field getting ready for the Chiefs and the Steelers. And right now it's time for the Treasure Hunt coin toss. Brett Kiesel, Ryan Clark, Ben Roethlisberger representing the Steelers. Latif drop.
The coin. That's the head. That's the tail. The head. The tail. What is your call? Heads is the call. Heads is the call. Head. That's a tail.
We'll defer.
You want to defer. Pittsburgh want to toss, want to defer.
All right, so the Steelers have won the Treasure Hunt coin toss. Treasure Hunt pays the most for your gold, your silver, your jewelry, your coins, your diamonds. Check out Treasure Hunt. The Steelers will defer, I believe the call was. All right, Andy Reid on the sidelines, inheriting a 2-14 team. And, of course, went through such a lot of personal tragedy last year with the loss of his son, Garrett. But after he was fired, he was in hot demand, and he decided to go to Kansas City, try to resurrect this program. On the other side of the field, it's Mike Tomlin, 16th head coach in franchise history, only the third in the last 44 years, and his eyes are on a 7th Lombardi trophy. So a lot for both these teams to play for. Both these teams, Edmund, have not yet won, as Kansas City lost to New Orleans, then San Francisco, and of course the Steelers have lost their 2 games to the Giants and the Skins.
And most head coaches try to poo-poo the fact that wins and losses really don't count in the preseason, but it gets you in a good frame of mind when you win, and you have to get back in the film study room if you lose a little bit harder. So the Steelers have some corrections that they need to make, Bob. Begins tonight. I'd like to see a good performance from that offensive line. Mike Tomlin is looking for solid performances from his special teams, and also the fact that he's putting his defense on the field. He knows where his bread is buttered.
All right, back deep is Devin Wiley, along with Terrence Cooper. There's Wiley right there. Sean Sweeson will be kicking off for the Steelers. And Sweeson, coming off a very good season 1 year ago, and has really taken this job. He's been well-traveled like a lot of kickers have been. Ryan Suckup, who's on the other side of the field, also one of the better kickers in the game. So we'll be seeing a lot of good kickers in this game tonight. Hopefully we won't see that much kicking and a lot more scoring, and we're off and running here at Heinz Field. And we will have a return on this one. Right off the bat, it's taken by Wiley up the middle. He's caught there. Ball comes loose. Steelers say they have it. What's the official call? Yes, they do. It looks like it was covered by Chris Carter, the reserve linebacker. Still waiting to hear the officials on the field. They haven't signaled.
And it's Pittsburgh ball.
It is Pittsburgh ball. Right off the bat, Andy Reid. Special teams has been so good until tonight.
Watch this hit. Coming in there, bodies flying everywhere. There's a good tackle. The ball is out. Looks like the ball is out before he hit the ground. Let's see who gets credit for the tackle. It's his own man. You know what, Bob? His elbow hit the ground.
Yeah, that might be a
and the ball came out. That might be
replay situation.
We're going to review the previous play.
Yeah, he ran into his own man. Yep. Chris Carter was there, but Andy Reid says, not so fast. We'll be back right after this. Right off the bat, we have a potential turnover here. Devin Wiley took it out of the end zone, tripped up, ran into his own guy, and it looked like his elbow hit, and that's why there is a challenge here, Edmund.
Yeah, we're going to see it here in slow-mo. Watch as he hits right there. He's still got the ball, and you can see it right there very clearly. The ground causes that fumble there. Good work in the truck there, guys, to get that one. Jim Edmonds, the fabulous Jim Edmonds, and, of course, Bill Schistler, our executive producer. Great work, guys, in the truck. But you know what, Bob? That's just one of those things. You're looking for a turnover early in the game, but that one looks like it's going to be overturned. Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to take hold here.
Right now, Kansas City's defense is on the field, as is the Steeler offense. There's Wiley, who fumbled the football. I inadvertently said challenge. It's a turnover, so they're looking at that play on their own, and they're deciding right now whether or not it was a turnover. You see Mike Regan, part of the review staff over there in the red shirt. They're still taking their time on this one. There's Wiley. He's one of the guys here out of Fresno State. He was a 4th-round pick last year, and he's on the bubble trying to make this team. You can't afford mistakes like that. If it is turnover, even if it is, you don't want to lose the football just because Andy Reid will chalk it up.
Well, you can't put the ball on the ground, that's for sure. That one looks like it's a pretty clear case. We'll hear it here.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. The runner is touched by a Pittsburgh player and goes down and hits with his elbow at the 20-yard line where he is down by contact. 1st and 10, Pittsburgh.
So there had to be a touch involved,
14:57
which apparently there
on the
was
game
as he was
clock.
going up. Let's see where he is touched.
14:57.
And here he's going up. He was hit by his own guy. Where's he touched? Maybe right there by the elbow. And then the ball hits the ground and comes out. So possession then stays with Kansas City as was ruled by the official.
So the Chiefs have the football. The Steeler defense on the field trying to make things happen. Alex Smith, the quarterback for Kansas City. He was with San Francisco until Colin Kaepernick took his job in the backfield. They use a fullback here under Andy Reid, which is good news for their starter, Anthony Sherman, who they acquired by trade. Right off the bat, it's Charles, who's injured early in his camp up the middle. Not much there, and Steve McClendon was involved as well as Larry Foote. Now it's time for the Kansas City offense, brought to you by your neighborhood Ford store. Jamal Charles, Anthony Sherman, Anthony Fasano at tight end, Bo and Avery. They traded Jonathan Baldwin. We'll talk about that later. Up front, it's Albert, Allen Hudson, Asamoah, and Eric Fisher, the #1 overall pick. That's the Ford starting lineup. And now it's Alex Smith delivers and has his man for first down yardage. That is Donnie Avery, who was acquired from Indy last year. He was originally a 2nd-round pick of St. Louis, and he caught Andrew Luck's first ever touchdown pass with Indy 1 year ago. And now it's time for the Steelers defense as Kansas City goes hurry up here. So we may not take a look at it right now. We will eventually. But Andy Reid trying to get things going here with the pace of the game. And they started quickly against New Orleans, fizzled after that. What do you say about that Jamal Charles? He's unbelievable. 3rd-round pick in that 2008 draft. We talked about Mendenhall and Jones, but this guy averages actively 5.79 yards per game. That's the most of any active running back, and he is really a weapon in both running and passing.
One of the fastest people in the NFL. You get him in the open field and you really see something special.
This time he fakes the handoff. He goes out to the outside, has his man, missed tackle. Once again, it's Donnie Avery. 2008 2nd-round pick out of St. Louis, and Jason Wills was there to make that tackle. Here's your neighborhood Ford store defensive lineup up front. It's Ziggy Hood, Steve McClendon, Brett Kiesel in the middle, Woodley, Foote, Timmons, and Worlds to start this game, even though he's getting pressured by Jarvis Jones. And in the backfield, William Gay, along with Troy Polamalu, Ryan Clark, and Ike Taylor. Cortez Allen is back tonight, too, and that's good news. He was injured early in this camp, but he has been really good. Jamal Charles now weaving his way across midfield. Coming up is Ike Taylor to originally get his hands on him. Charles is the man who, they had to hold their breath early in this training camp. He was carted off a practice field.
Yeah, that'll scare you, but look at this. Just a little bit of an opening, and he shoots up in there. He's a little guy. A lot of guys can't see him as he cuts it up, and quickly, 11 yards, very quickly, right up the gut.
Alex Smith, who did so many good things for San Francisco after a very slow start. He was the #1 overall pick back in 05. Took a while to get going, but last 2 years has been very good. This time Charles is in the backfield. Lawrence Timmons, who had that big interception against Kansas City last year to set up the overtime winner by Suiza. He's a tackle machine.
Steve McClendon with great penetration made that play for Timmons. You watch it right here. McClendon right at the top of your screen, folks, just blows up the center, gets him 2 or 3 yards back in the backfield. He knows what's going on. The penetration will not allow the cutback, nowhere to go, and Timmons comes in and makes a very solid tackle.
3 wides in. Checking in is Junior Hemingway, number 88 for Kansas City's offense here. In the shotgun is Alex Smith on a 2nd down. Smith looks over the field, fires, has his man, Dwayne Bowe, who's wrapped up by Troy Polamalu. Bowe, of course, #1 pick out of LSU back in 07, signed a 5-year deal in this offseason, a big deal for Kansas City to give out.
Bowe had to wait on this. It looked like Troy Polamalu had the break on it. If that ball's thrown to the inside at all, you might see Troy pick one there and take it home for 6. A little bit late with the throw. If it's inside at all, Troy Polamalu had his eye on the quarterback the whole way.
3rd down and 6 now situation, facing Alex Smith, who so far is 3 for 3 for 28 yards. In motion is Hemingway. Smith doesn't like what he sees, and now he will use a timeout. Didn't like the Steelers formation. Of course, Troy has been very active back there, bouncing around this entire preseason. Good to see that, and hopefully that'll continue into the regular season as well. We'll take a break. It's scoreless early first quarter right here at Heinz Field. 11:26 remaining first quarter. Tonight's Steeler game is brought to you in high definition in partnership with Xfinity. It's the future of awesome. Edmund, some conversation going down there on the field.
Yeah, the referees are talking to Coach Mike Tomlin about that last fumble, trying to figure out. Mike said, now where is the contact? That's what the question is going on. And the referee's pleading his case, saying, well, you know, they had to be. It was a little bit of an elbow hit there, as you can see him gyrating there. Coach Tomlin isn't buying it, I can guarantee that.
3rd down and 7 for Kansas City. Once again, Hemingway in motion. This time, Smith is going to check off as they operate from the Steeler 44-yard line. Pressure picked up. Smith in the pocket. Now he's under pressure and will go down. Ziggy Hood, Jason Worlds, and Lawrence Timmons all involved, and Ziggy Hood is in your neighborhood. That's good news for the Steelers defense.
That was beautifully played. Troy Polamalu, they thought they had the blitz picked up. Troy shows early on and then backs out and covers a short drag, which was a hot route, as the Kansas City Chiefs had thought about when they went to the sidelines. Troy has the route covered, and the rush just gets in there. Everybody gets a piece of the quarterback. Looks like Jason Worlds gets a piece. Ziggy Hood gets a little piece. Well done.
All right, now it's Dustin Colquitt, one of the top punters in the game, tries to keep it out of the end zone, and it originally looked like it was batted back, but it hits the Kansas City players. Antonio Brown was back there, and it is a touchback as the Steelers will go to work from their own 20-yard line. Much more on the name Colquitt. Steeler fans know all about his dad, Craig. You know about Craig, two-time Super Bowl champ.
We go way back. I talked to Craig in the offseason, too.
Yeah, the first family of punting. We'll talk about that in a moment, but ladies and gentlemen, Mondays at 10, Hostages is a high-octane drama starring Emmy Award winner Toni Collette as a surgeon thrust into a chilling political conspiracy when her family is taken hostage by rogue FBI agent Duncan Carlisle, played by Dylan McDermott. Check out Hostages Monday at 10 this fall on KDKA and CBS. All right, Steeler offense on the field for the first time, and right off the bat it's Jonathan Dwyer, who was a workhorse last week trying to get a couple of extra yards, picks up 2 against a very stout Kansas City defense. And now it's time for the neighborhood Ford store. Steeler offense, Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback, of course, looking for big things this season, mostly staying healthy all the way through. The rest of it looks this way. Redmond and Dwyer right now going to be battling for that starting job. Will Johnson, David Paulson at tight end, Emmanuel Sanders and Brown, Adams, Foster, Pouncey, DeCastro, and Gilbert, the youngest offensive line in Pittsburgh since 1957.
Look at all the guys in the box.
Yes.
Kansas City. Look at all those guys in the box.
Once again, play action this time. Roethlisberger about to be hit. He throws it down the field. Has a man, Antonio Brown. And Brown makes the play over the shoulder catch just as Roethlisberger was about to be hit. Sean Smith, the veteran, was back there defensively. It did not matter. It's a big game.
Check, check, check with Ben Roethlisberger. You see all those guys in the box. Bob pointed them out. So then you look deep to your deep wide receiver. Antonio Brown comes in. He did that. He's done that all camp long. Little read between. Look, he just outruns him. Has to wait for it just a hair, just a skosh thrown to his outside shoulder. Turns all the way around. Catch that in stride, and that might be a touchdown. That's well executed by Ben Roethlisberger on the pre-read, pre-snap read, and also well done by Antonio Brown.
49 yards on that conversion. This time, handoff up the middle to Dwyer. He's met right at the point of attack. One thing about Kansas City, you see that big number 92 down there, Don Terry Poe. He was a one-man wrecking crew last year against the Steelers. Big guy out of Memphis, weighs 346, but I'm more than likely going to tell you it's heavier than that. We saw him down there before the game. Tyson Jackson, Don Terry Poe, they expected big things. Mike DeVito, former Jet. The linebackers, Houston, Jordan, Johnson, and Tamba Hully out of Penn State, and a man who put Roethlisberger out last year. Brandon Flowers, Eric Berry, Kendrick Lewis, and Sean Smith. They brought him in and gave him a big contract. Kelvin Beachum now in the game on the offensive line for the Steelers. He has been the jack of all trades on that O-line. Dwyer reversing his field, trying to get to the outside and does. Dwyer to the 20, Dwyer to the 15, and he's tripped up there finally by Brandon Flowers. But it's another Steeler first down and a good bit of running by Jonathan Dwyer.
Oh my goodness, Jonathan Dwyer, stay to the inside. You might have another 7 or 8 yards. Watch this, folks. He breaks it to the outside. Pre-snap read. There were only 7 guys in the box. They can get blocked. They do. Dwyer bounces to the outside. He makes that cut to the outside. Oh, my goodness. If he stays inside, watch this now. Watch it to his left. Watch the hole open. He breaks back to the. No! Don't do that. Oh. But in the heat of battle, Bob, that's not a bad cut. Very well.
They'll take the yardage, I guess. Now 3 carries, 16 yards for Dwyer, who was the man last week, out of necessity more than anything else. Roethlisberger now, over the middle, has it. Once again, it's Antonio Brown as he crosses the field, gets inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Brandon Flowers was there, the 2008 second-round pick, to make that play. And you are now entering the Heinz red zone. The Steelers hope it turn into green like money, because they need more touchdowns and field goals at this part of the game.
Guys are looking really sharp on this particular drive. Ben Roethlisberger making plays on that last play, Bob. Excellent, excellent protection. They're coming in with a 6th offensive lineman. Looks like Beachum coming in there, playing the extra tackle at tight end.
And off once again, Dwyer trying to cut back as Will Johnson went one way. He went the other, and not much there as he was tackled by Akeem Jordan, also Derek Johnson, number 56 in there. And Tamba Hali, he's always involved in that play.
Very interesting little twist in the running game as Jack McNeil Jr. is bringing in Kelvin Beachum coming off as the tight end. He's reporting to the officials that he's 6'8", has a tight end, doesn't have a tight end number, so he reports playing outside Gilbert on the right side there on that last play and block it. Very, very interesting. Little wrinkle for the Steelers in their running game.
Third down for the Steelers now in the red zone. Emmanuel Sanders, top of your screen. Now settles. Roethlisberger lifting left. Firing has a man, but it's out of the reach of Antonio Brown, who was covered this time by Sean Smith. And it means field goal. And this is one of the problems the Steelers have had, is converting these opportunities into scoring plays other than field goals.
Yeah, you see Ben Roethlisberger talking to his young receiver right there. It may have been a miscommunication on the route. When Antonio Brown comes out of that break, he wants to explode his eyes back to his quarterback and pick up the ball very early. Did not do that, and Ben was expecting him to saw his route out just a little bit. But again, very good drive, great execution, good offensive line play, and here we are with a field goal attempt.
Sean Sweezum is on to try a 28-yarder. It's up, and it's good. And the Steelers take advantage of one big play of that drive, a 49-yard completion from Ben Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown. That gets them on the board at 3-0. Kansas City back on offense when we come back to Heinz Field. All right, we're back, everyone. 3-0. Sean Sweezum, 28-yard field goal. The annual Coors Light Rib Fest and Rib Festival kicks off Thursday, the 29th through Monday, September 2nd, right here at Heinz Field. Great. I know already you're licking your chops there. National rib vendors from all over the world coming here. Got the Parmalee Montgomery Gentry Group on the 29th, the Clarks, Maggie Rose, Justin Moore, and of course, Monday, September the 2nd. Pitt heads into the ACC against the Florida State Seminoles, all part of ribs, music, and more. The Coors Light Rib Fest right here. Back deep for them, Kansas City, is Niles Davis. And this is a guy who already has a 104-yard kickoff return this season. He's a speedster out of Arkansas, trying to make this team. He was a third-round pick this year. And Davis is going to take it. Will he bring it out? Oh, yeah. He wants to continue to impress the special teams. But this time, right up the middle, a big hit there by Jarvis Jones.
What
shot in like a missile.
Wow, look at Jarvis Jones run right up the middle and just head hunting. Jarvis Jones, first-round draft choice on the kickoff coverage. And, folks, this is how you make an NFL club. Come in there, reckless abandon. I'm going to knock somebody out.
We'll be right back. 3-0 Steelers. We're back, 3-0 Steelers. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson with you up here in the booth. Jeff Rosella will join you here at halftime. Academy Award winner Robin Williams returns to TV in The Crazy Ones, an advertising genius whose methods and behavior would get him fired. Sarah Michelle Gellar is his daughter and partner, the opposite of her dad, and too busy parenting her father. The Crazy Ones, Thursday at 9 this fall, KDKA and CBS. So, bad decision by Niall Davis as he takes it out of the end zone, and he gets hit by Jones down at the 12-yard line, and that's where Kansas City will begin its second drive of the night. Smith back to pass. He's looking down the field, and good coverage there by the Steelers. Cortez Allen on Donnie Avery. Cortez Allen has been out with injuries. Good to see. He was really a difference maker down the stretch last year.
Yeah, he played very solid. Good to see him back healthy. Jarvis Jones got deep into his drop and messed that thing up. Did you know that Jarvis Jones once scored 28 points on Blake Griffin in an AAU 9th grade basketball game?
I wouldn't be surprised, given how he can jump and the athletic ability.
I told him it had to be before Blake's
Sure it wasn't his brother Taylor Gray. Now it's Alex Smith, this time going to Avery. Again, Cortez Allen wraps him up. And Avery's a guy who missed all of 2010. As I said, he caught Andrew Luck's first touchdown pass last year in Indy, but he was a second-round pick originally. Did not work out in St. Louis.
Trying to find a home. That's what it's all about in the NFL. Find a system that you can thrive in. Andy Reid certainly is looking for wide receivers and running backs and offensive skill folks that can execute the type of offense that he wants. And believe me, Bob, that's one high-powered offense.
Third down. Chiefs bringing their fullback. He's acquired from Arizona. Handoff to Charles. He runs into a wall. Second effort gets him closest. Polamalu tries to keep him away from first down yardage. It's very close. We will find out. But the lead block, Anthony Sherman. Arizona picked him up in the 5th round. Arizona, when they changed coaches, and Bruce Arians says, I don't need fullbacks, made him available, and they traded to get him.
Watch this wall built by the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive front. Great penetration. The guys standing up. At first they had him. There was a little second effort that might have gotten the first down, but that's good defense by the black and gold.
Well, they're going to measure. It's that close. Polamalu, it's good to see him healthy and bouncing around, and certainly they need that for all 16 games. When he does that, when he's in there long, it seems like there's a lot of success for the Steelers in postseason competition. That looks very short. Just by a whisker.
That's only an inch or two, isn't it? See how frisky Coach Andy Reid is feeling. Coach Dick LeBeau is saying, all right, if they want to go for it, we got a little something for them.
Well, this would be, if you're Bill Belichick, I guess this is understandable because he's done it before from his own.
This is ill-advised, Bob. Look where they, I mean, you know.
But it is preseason. Preseason is preseason, I guess, if you're looking for performances. But at the same time, during a game, I don't think you'd see this.
No, I don't think you would see this. But look for the trick play. Look for the trying to bring them off sides. And then the defense really has to be ready to play. Also, quick count.
Alex Smith under center, throw formation, and they're going to go for it indeed. Charles tries to get a second effort again. It'll depend on the spot. I'm saying no. Looks like he's short as the Steelers come up and make that play right at the line of scrimmage.
Guess who? Troy Polamalu coming up, just reading and being a football player, reading what's going on, slashing through, getting the penetration. Unbelievable football player. Be hard to ever replace a guy like Troy Polamalu. You expect to see him one day up in Akron going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, that was the case where the Steelers put the puppies on the porch because the big dog wanted to eat.
Look at that. And that's unbelievable. You just don't see that. He's just throwing his body around. Great penetration by the guys on the right side. Unbelievable. Brett Kiesel over there. Clendon. Hood.
So the Steelers do take over. So far this preseason, 7 Steeler possessions for the first team. No touchdowns. And again, that is one of the issues they want to get worked out. Roethlisberger looks into the end zone, trying to change that, going for Emmanuel Sanders. And this time it's Sean Smith all over him. Sanders became more of the defender, and that falls incomplete.
It's a good job by Emmanuel Sanders, becoming the defensive back there. Position was made on ball, was not thrown quite long enough. Take a look at it right here. Good protection up front. Little lob throw. They practice throwing into a trash can right here, trying to figure out where the receiver is going to be. And Emmanuel Sanders, not in very good position at all, does a very nice job of knocking that ball to the ground.
Pass protection has been in question for this offensive line throughout the preseason. So far, so good on this night. We'll see what happens here on a second down. Roethlisberger again zips it. Deflected, it looked like right at the line of scrimmage, and it goes incomplete. Jericho Cotchery was the intended receiver, but somebody from Kansas City seemed to get a fingertip on it.
And when you think about this this Steeler offense under Todd Haley, you're thinking they get the ball in good position, they get down nearly inside the red zone, and you're thinking run the football a little bit, and yet here's Todd Haley with 2 pass calls trying to have the quick strike offense, and you have to believe that that's the influence of Ben Roethlisberger trying to get his coach to open it up a little bit.
All right, now it's 3rd and 10, the Steelers. Looks like there is some movement there. The Steelers might have moved first. Kansas City jumped outside. We'll wait for the official call.
Jericho Cotchery was pointing across. He's the one that left, but he was pointing across saying, hey, I was influenced.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense. 5-yard penalty.
Still a third down.
And he was right.
All right, so they'll take 5 yards off of it, make it that much easier, maybe open up the playbook a little bit more. Again, the Steelers are operating at a deficit at running back, looking for somebody on third down. They're 0 for 1 tonight on third down to be one of the swing pass guys. LaRod Stevens Howling is out with an injury. Redmond had a stinger. Batch had a stinger. Felix Jones we expect to see a little bit later in this game in his Steeler debut. Roethlisberger now trying to evade some of that pressure. When he dumps it off, and it goes to Jericho Cotchery. Roethlisberger made that play, and it's good for a first down as the Steelers get deeper into the Heinz red zone, all the way to the 5-yard line. Derek Johnson down the field made the stop, but not before the Steelers get a first down.
Watch the protection has been a question. Good protection. You see Dwyer come all the way across the formation to pick up a block. Ben Roethlisberger being very calm in the backfield and then finding Jericho Cotchery as he comes across the middle with a nice little touch on the pass. Very well executed.
Number 85, David Johnson. We see him now. They need bodies at tight end, and he was a good player before he got injured last year, so 2 tight ends over there, including David Paulson. Will Johnson as the lead blocker. Handoff Dwyer trying to reverse his way and battle deep, but he cannot get that deep. A couple of yards before Tyson Jackson was there. David DeCastro with the block at the line of scrimmage. But this Tyson Jackson's a guy who's been a complete underachiever. They gave him a $57 million deal after he was number 1, 3rd overall in 09, and he only has 5 sacks in 5 years.
$57 million.
29, I believe, guaranteed, but they need Tyson Jackson to kick it up, and they need, this is his year to do it, I suppose. All right, second down now for the Steelers. Tough yardage right there for the offense. Roethlisberger blitz, and he cannot get it away, and that blitz is Derek Johnson, who came in right up the middle. Pressure got to the Steeler offensive line. It's a big loss.
Ben Roethlisberger had no chance right there. He needed to just throw that ball out of bounds, still trying to make a play. He could feel the rush, pump faked it, but couldn't get rid of it. Look at this, just a clear blitz coming right up between the guard and tackle. Both were occupied. Ben Roethlisberger just needed to throw that one into the cheap seats and not take the sack, but still in position to score.
Derek Johnson has been their tackle machine the last 3 years, 121, then 135, then 127, and he gets a loss of 10 there, forcing the Steelers now 3rd and long, and it's Roethlisberger again under pressure. He's hit, gets away from it, zigzagging in and out, looking and finding Jonathan Dwyer for a touchdown. Roethlisberger to Dwyer, and it's all number 7. Nobody does it better than Roethlisberger, 13 yards, and the Steelers have increased that lead to 9-0.
Mike Adams was completely beaten on that play, Bob, and Ben Roethlisberger evaded the pass rush and made a play. That is unbelievable by Ben Roethlisberger, showing athletic ability to get away. Watch this. Coming right. Watch this right here. Beaten completely. Look at the move. Big and strong. Cuts to his left, cuts to his right, and then the wherewithal to find the open receiver. That's just too easy.
That's a nice drive by the Steelers. Ben now 4 for 7, 79 yards and a touchdown as he just creates the opening, sets up a wide open Dwyer, and the Steelers now have a 10-0 lead. We'll be back with more from Heinz Field right after this on KDKA TV. Ben Roethlisberger 13 yards to a wide open Jonathan Dwyer has the Steelers up 10-0. Steeler fans, you can enjoy tonight's game once again tomorrow at noon. We'll rebroadcast it on Pittsburgh's CW. Steelers and Chiefs every second of every play. Check it out tomorrow at noon on Pittsburgh's CW. That was only a 21-yard drive because Andy Reid decided to go for it from his own 21 on 4th down.
Well, we talked about it, Bob. That's the kind of trouble that you get into. But as you said, this is preseason.
All right, Devin Wiley, who fumbled early on, but it was reversed. He has it again, second chance. He's going nowhere against Steelers special teams, and a flag is down. Very improved tonight of what we've seen in the first couple of games. Danny Smith, the new coach there, making headway in that department. Looks like a hold against Kansas City or blocking the back.
I am not believing that Kansas City would take that ball out of the end zone.
Twice
8
tonight.
and 9 yards deep.
During the return, holding, number 54, the return team Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Creating their own medicine, Bob. You know, they could start on the 20 with no penalty. They bring it out. They have a poor return, and then on top of that have a holding call. Now, these guys aren't making it very easy for their offense, and Andy Reid cannot be happy with what he's seeing with the starts deep in his own territory.
Not at all. The field position has been completely lopsided in favor of the Steelers. Alex Smith in the shotgun now. To his right, Jamal Charles, outstanding running back. We haven't talked about Eric Fisher, their right tackle, #1 overall pick. And a quick hitter there to Hemingway goes incomplete. Junior Hemingway was in the flat trying to make something happen, but it's now 2nd down and 10.
And there you see the effect of Jarvis Jones. He's done that all camp long on the quick hitter, trying to throw the quick out. Jarvis gets up there, gets into the passing lane. You're going to see him bat a ball, catch it, take it into the end zone. You're going to see a big play from the young Bulldog out of Georgia sooner or later this year. He gets his hands on a lot of balls, has great range.
Much like what we saw last week when Ryan Kerrigan did it to Ben Roethlisberger. He has a knack of doing that, and Jarvis Jones has a chance, and there's nothing there. Swarming Steeler defense gives Jones nothing, or Charles nothing. And once again, McClendon at the bottom, Ryan Clark. Steve McClendon has a lot of lateral movement for a guy who occupies the nose.
He's big and long, has great lateral movement there. And, you know, they lost their hammer. They lost the big guy, James Harrison, you know, that was the big hitter. But these guys want to play. They're showing that Dick LeBeau, look, you know, we're going to play football no matter what. And bear in mind, this team was the #1 overall defense in all the land, #1 against the pass, and #2 against the rush last year. Not a whole lot of fall off as of right now.
Alex Smith, 3rd down, hits his man Fasano as he goes out of bounds with Polamalu bearing down, and Anthony Fasano was way short of the 1st down. I do not think Reid will go for it here.
Well, it's 4th and 7 or so. It'd be prudent to punt it, I would think.
There's that Dustin Colquitt. We talked about the Colquitt family, and 3rd round pick back in 2005. And, you know, he was the highest paid punter. Just signed a contract this year, Edmund, that paid him $3.75 million a year until his brother, Britton, got a bigger contract from Denver a couple weeks later. So now Britton's #1 and Dustin's #2.
Greg's so happy he can't stand it.
And there's Antonio Brown under pressure. Jarvis Jones back there pushed into him. Brown trying to get something done. Good punt there by Colquitt, and not much of the return. Jaleel Hall back there defensively on special teams. Colquitt, by the way, likes to say, I live for 4th down. That's what Craig likes to say. 60 yards by Dustin Colquitt. Now it's time to check out the PNC scoreboard for the Achiever in U and the Barclays. This is the first of 4 FedEx events. Matt Kuchar has the lead over Liberty National right in New Jersey there. Beautiful view of that golf course. Gary Woodland there. Tiger Woods looking at -8. Bubba Watson, Jim Furyk, who won the FedEx Cup a couple of years ago, and you can see final round action of that coming up tomorrow. By the way, Geno Smith today in his debut for the Jets. First drive, touchdown, 22-yarder, but then the next 2, pick. So the Jets continue to have their problems at quarterback. Roethlisberger now looking down the field. Underneath goes to Will Johnson. Johnson trying to cut to the outside. Smith comes over and makes that play along with Jordan. A gain of about 7 or 8 yards for the nimble Will Johnson.
Little tweak on the bubble screen, just kind of hides his way over into the flat, comes into the offensive line, and then bounces out to the outside. Will Johnson looked like there was a lot more running room than there wound up being. Very nice play there by Sean Smith.
They gave Sean Smith a nice contract, 3 years, $18 million, 12 of which are guaranteed to come here. To opposite of Brandon Flowers, and try to shore up that secondary. Eric Berry back there, number 29, is the main man. They need him to do a lot of things. He's their version of Troy Polamalu. It's Roethlisberger now down the field, and a drop by David Paulson. Tamba Hali was there, but Paulson seemed to have had it right in his hands, and he dropped it.
Well, now you start thinking, okay, would Heath Miller have caught that ball? Well, most certainly. Todd Haley's already on to the next play. Let's see if this was tipped a little bit. No, it was right in his hands. He needed to pull that one in. Paulson, known for his pass catching skills, needed to haul that one in. Getting a little dap from one of his players. Yeah, that was tough luck, but you're going to make the team and stay on the team. You got to catch those.
3rd down and 3 now as the Steelers bring in some more heavy beef in the tight end position. You got Johnson and Johnson in there. Will Johnson is in motion as he's going to line up in the backfield. Roethlisberger from the shotgun. Pressure under the middle goes to Antonio Brown. Brown putting on the speed, gets away from a couple of defenders and gets 1st down yardage. A nice play there by Antonio Brown, who has a 49er earlier in this game, and that one to beat Derek Johnson down the field.
Almost created a cardinal sin there by catching the ball and coming back behind the first down marker, but saw a little bit of running room, and with his great speed, able to get to the corner and comfortably get the first down. But Antonio Brown and his quarterback, well done. 3 for 4 on third down conversions for Ben Roethlisberger thus far. Very solid.
First team expects to get a lot of work tonight, and this is the one game that coaches like to call their dress rehearsal, and certainly this is much better than what we've seen in the first couple of games. End around goes to Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders now with a block from Pouncey, although they fight off that block, and a nice play there by Sean Smith as well as Don Terry Poe, the big dude out of Memphis. And boy, you notice when he's on the field because the field starts shaking when he's running after you.
Earthquake Poe, they might start calling him.
For the first quarter.
Emmanuel Sanders turning on the burst and getting north and south. Well done.
All right, the Steelers have a 10-0 lead. A Sweesom field goal and a Roethlisberger touchdown pass to Dwyer.
Steelers preseason football is brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Save time, save money, stay healthy. Get started at highmarkhealthtools.com. By Xfinity, the future of awesome. By Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out there and live it. It's time to live for now. And by your Pittsburgh Hyundai dealers. Test drive a Hyundai car or crossover today.
Welcome back, everyone. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson up here in the booth, and the offense went to work early. Jonathan Dwyer, nice running to the outside, picks up some healthy yardage there, sets up a Sean Sweesom field goal as the Steelers draw first blood at 3-0, and then it was Ben Roethlisberger here doing his magic, escaping pressure, finding Dwyer. Defense forgot about him, and that's a 13-yard score, and that gets you caught up to date. That's where we are, 10-0 Steelers in a pretty good first quarter now as they begin with a 2nd and 5 at midfield. Ben delivers this time. It's Paulson hanging on, takes a big hit right there, but very close to first down. Looks like he has it. Eric Berry was in on that tackle, but Paulson, you're right, he is a good pass catcher, and he could not have liked his drop earlier.
No, that's why Ben going right back to him, making sure that he lets his young receiver know, hey, I got trust in you. Taking
Number
a shot right here.
reports as an eligible receiver. Number 68 is eligible.
You hear that, Bob? That's exactly what the tweak is in the Steeler running game. Now Kelvin Beachum comes in, reports as eligible, playing tight end, going to be the last man on the line of scrimmage towards the camera there, as you can see him right there. And that's a big body in there to block on a defensive end type.
Well, you know, the Steelers in the run game last year was not what they wanted, sort of by a committee. They were 26th last year, averaging just 96 yards per game. And this, to me, was more disconcerting. They had 42 times out of 412 attempts they were tackled in the backfield for losses.
Yeah, that's no good. And that's just, not being aggressive at the point of attack. That's one of the things about the zone blocking scheme that bothers me just a little bit, is in that you have some lateral movement, double at the point of attack, and you need to get those big bodies moving up the field a little bit. Sometimes they have a tendency to be a bit tentative and a bit too lateral, but seems to be working fine here tonight, especially being offset by the good passing game that Ben has shown.
Yeah, talk more about Calvin Beachum. You mentioned him as 7th-round pick, and he has become a coaching favorite here, no doubt. Roethlisberger steps up now, has some time, fires down the middle. Antonio Brown knocked out of bounds, this time by Johnson, but it is first down yardage, but a penalty is down.
Chop block. Number 27 on the offense. 15 yards, repeat, 2nd down.
Dwyer chop block.
You have to look at that one, Bob. I saw him throw the flag, but I did not see the chop block. We're going to take a look at it here and see what's going on. What happens in a chop block is the guy has to be engaged, and then you dive at his knees. It looked like he just cut him as he was coming in on the blitz. I didn't see where that was an illegal chop. Maybe the definition has changed since last time I studied the rules, but that just looked like he went low and chopped him down. And Coach Tomlin is livid.
Doesn't like that at all.
Trying to get some somebody's attention.
Yeah, that was a play that did not have to be called, and it nullifies what would have been a nice gainer. Another big one to Antonio Brown. So instead, it's 2nd down and 22. Roethlisberger delayed handoff. Dwyer straight up the middle this time, trying to find more room. Cannot. It clogs up in a hurry. And Dwyer is one of those guys, too. Last year he was accused of tapping out too much. We saw it too many times. He now hears about that, and he has vowed never to have that happen again. You know, when they were successful, they had 3 straight games of 100 yards between him and Redmond. They won all 3 of those games.
There were times when Dwyer would have a 100-yard game a year or 2 ago and then come out and be inactive the next game. It was the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. And Dwyer is a guy that needs to take command of that running back position. If Redmond is going to be injured, some of the other running backs are not going to get looks because they're injured. He's not injured. This is his time. He needs to show it right now.
3rd down. Roethlisberger underneath. Dwyer trying to get something, and he's dragged down from behind. A nice play right there by Abdullah defensively for Kansas City, and that is going to force a punt situation.
Dwyer getting a couple of touches, showing the hands. He can be the 3rd down receiving back. Not quite the speed that you would like to have for a guy to get out into the open field, but he's speedy enough. Just couldn't get away there. Abdullah coming in with the wrap-up.
Brian Moorman now on to punt. He is engaged with Drew Butler in a very interesting battle to become the starting punter for this team. Devin Wiley back deep. Wiley makes a fair catch. And a nice punt there by Moorman. One of the things he does better than most is that hang time. He was part of the all-decade team, too, for all his years in Buffalo.
Very strong leg.
All right, it's 10-0. Kansas City goes back on offense when we come back to Heinz Field. Now the Steelers have the early lead, 2nd quarter. I want to remind you about Mom. It's a comedy starring Anna Faris as a newly sober single mom raising 2 children. Multiple Emmy Award winner Allison Janney is her critical estranged mother. You don't want to miss Mom. Mondays at 9:30 this fall on KDKA and CBS. All right, nice work there by Brian Moorman as Kansas City has had awful field position here all night long, and it continues. Steeler defense taking advantage of that. So far pitching a shutout. Of course, Andy Reid helped that by going for it on 4th down from his own 21-yard line and not getting it. So we'll see what Alex Smith can do. Alex, of course, many years in San Francisco, #1 overall pick. The last 2 years have been good, but lost his job to Colin Kaepernick after Smith suffered a concussion. And there is, Avery ridden out of bounds. A nice tackle there by Cortez Allen. Talk about the strength of the kid from the Citadel.
Wow, he came in and lowered the boom on the quick out. Just playing base defense. You know, everybody talks about no game planning, all of this stuff. This is what you have to do when there's no game plan. Come up and smack somebody, let them know you're there. Let them know that you'll be there the rest of the night, or at least the time that you're playing. And they'll be less likely to catch some of those passes later on.
Kansas City continuing to try to quicken the pace here. This time play action. Nice play there. Play was in the backfield. Alex Smith has time, throws down the field, and has his man, Dwayne Bowe. Bowe makes the reception, gets away from Mike Taylor, gets extra yardage to the 45. Polamalu was in the backfield, but he went one way, the ball, and Smith went the other. Ziggy Hood, way downfield, makes that tackle.
Completely fooled. Troy thought he had clear range, but it was a naked boot. Great handoff fake there by Alex Smith, getting on the corner and then making the play. Very accurate throw all the way down the sidelines. Well done. And then Bo, look at the stop route. Come back and get it. And then turns around, missed tackle. And then he's off to the races. Good speed by the big guy.
That was a gain of 30 yards as he gets by Ike Taylor. Now a throw behind Avery. Not a good one there. It goes incomplete. You know, Alex Smith, in his first 6 years with San Francisco, had 6 different offensive coordinators. For those who don't play in this league like you once did, how difficult is that for a young kid?
Well,
6 different coordinators.
The worst of any situation. Remember the time when Cordell Stewart had 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, and he was much maligned for his lack of offensive play. And yet, you know, what are the expectations for Alex Smith? And then time he gets a team, then you have a young stud, Colin Kaepernick, come up behind him and basically make him obsolete in San Francisco.
But Smith is going to fit in here. Matt Castle was here. That didn't work. They tried other options, but Smith has the resume that they like, and Andy Reid wants to utilize him. Lamar Woodley applying pressure, and wisely Smith throws that one away. That was a tough decision last year by Harbaugh in San Francisco because he had suffered a concussion. And normally when you're back, you're back. And he had a good year going, Edmund. If you look at it last year, he had 13 touchdowns, 5 picks, and then Kaepernick gets in and just never let go.
Well, you know,
the Wally Pipp story.
Well, we'll listen to the referee, and then we'll get on that story a little more.
And eligible downfield on a forward pass. Number 74 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat, 2nd down.
You know, the unwritten rule in the NFL, Bob, is that you don't lose your position when you get hurt, you know, when you come back into the starting position. But then you got a guy, did you see Colin Kaepernick come out one of the Giants games and throw the first pitch and just half-heartedly threw a 92-mile-an-hour fastball up there? I mean, that's the kind of talent, 4.3 speed, can take it to the house or anywhere on the field, it's hard to keep a guy like that off the field.
All right, 2nd and 15 now for Smith. Gets good protection from his offensive line. Fires over the middle, down the field, and overthrows his intended receiver, Avery. And once again, good coverage by Cortez Allen. Brandon Elbert right there with a block.
See Timmons trying to get some outside pass rush. He was coming in off of the outside, and that's one of the things that I see the Steeler defense would like to have done a little better. You know, you always depended on Harrison to squeeze that pocket and come off that edge and force that offensive tackle, get that short corner. There's not anyone on the team that can do that with the exception of Woodley, and you're going to need that on this opposite side coming from the likes of Worlds.
3rd down 15 now for the Chiefs, who haven't shown too much offensively. Again, fairly decent protection. Smith has time over the middle, fires, has his man. This time it's Hemingway. And he loses it, but gets it right back as the Steelers knock him down there. Woodley and Clark, but a nice gainer there by the youngster, Junior Hemingway, out of Michigan, last year's 7th round pick.
Well protected. Jeff Schwartz at guard in there for Kansas City. Great protection up front. You cannot have that much time to give Alex Smith to make that kind of throw, because he will certainly do it. He has the arm to get it downfield, and the Steelers must apply pressure when they blitz. They had 6 guys coming. They were all picked up in that blitz.
Last 2 completions for Smith, 30 and 18 yards. This time they hand off right up the middle, and that goes to Niall Davis, who replaces Jamal Charles. And we were watching that Eric Fisher, number 72, with a right tackle of the Chiefs. He's a big guy, 6'8", 305 out of Central Michigan. It was Luke Jokley or him as the number 1 pick. It's interesting, they're going to play together in their first week of the season, but 72 is a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's a mountain of a man.
Yeah, and I believe he played a lot of left tackle at Central Michigan, and he's moved over to right tackle. So that's a hard transition to make, especially with the footwork. But they believe in him quite a bit. This is a bad throw again behind Bo, the intended receiver. So Smith off target in his last couple.
Steeler defense trying to tighten up, but not being able to apply the pressure. Now they have the situation that they always live for. Dick LeBeau in his zone blitz scheme loves to have that 3rd and long. Kansas City Chiefs going no huddle, but the Steelers are ready for him, and you see the nickel package in there with William Gay coming in as the inside slot cover guy.
Kansas City looking to pick up the necessary yardage. Another 3rd down. Steelers want to get off the field, leading 10-0 here 2nd quarter. Woodley trying to get around Fisher, cannot do it over the middle. Cortez Allen, I'll tell you what, first game back, he's been all over Donnie Avery all night long. That's a completion, but it's well short of the first down marker, and they'll have to punt. Or why not go for it? They did it before.
Well, they did before, right? It shouldn't make any difference here. Dick LeBeau loves those 3rd and long situations. Play tough on 1st and 2nd down, and now get after the quarterback and get some cover going. It's exactly what happened, and that's the way you stop a fairly decent drive by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dustin Colquitt back. Last time he had a 60-yarder. Antonio Brown back deep. His career, he's had 250 career punts inside the 20-yard line. And boy, that's an offensive coordinator's worst nightmare. He's very good at doing it. Let's see if he can do it here. The Steelers would like to go in the end zone. And it does.
Just too strong, Bob. He dropped that football. Colquitt did. Point down to kick like a little knuckleball and carried it into the end zone.
Well, they don't have any question about their kicking game. Everything else remains a big question for the Chiefs, who are struggling right now. Steelers up 10-0. Hey, Edmund Nelson, Jeff Rosella back with you. 2nd quarter, Steelers up 10-0. Squeeze some field goal. Roethlisberger to Dwyer touchdown. Hey, this is our 60th year of doing the Children's Hospital Free Care Fund. We encourage you to help us out here. You can text free care to 50555. $5 to ensure we're here for every child. We're trying to reach $60 million. Help us do it and help the kids at Children's.
Please help.
All right, Steelers go to work now. Roethlisberger still in this game and hands up to Dwyer. Not much there, as once again the front of that Kansas City defense was there taking care of everything, including Mike DeVito there. You might remember him, number 70 from his days with the Jets. Had a safety on Ben Roethlisberger in a 2010 championship game. Although the Jets lost, so that doesn't matter. But he did get Ben in the end zone for a safety. All right, Jericho Cotchery in the game. Ben Roethlisberger so far make that 8 of 12, 99 yards in the touchdown. The big one was a 49-yard hookup with Antonio Brown, and of course the ad-libbing to Dwyer. That's why he needs to be healthy for all 16. He gives the Steelers a chance to be one of the best teams in the game. Here comes pressure from Muhammad Ali. Gets away from it. Down the field he goes. Right there to Jericho Cotchery. Cotchery makes the reception. It's first down yardage. Roethlisberger stepped up, avoided the oncoming Tamba Ali before Tyson Hartman brought down Cotchery.
How many guys make that pass? You step up into the pocket. This is just good protection. Step up. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. There's not a whole lot of room there, folks. So he wrong foots it, does everything wrong, and throws it on a line, on a dart. Hits his receiver in stride, who is covered aptly. And yet Ben Roethlisberger makes the play. Jericho Cotchery with a very nice route, finding the football.
Another 20-plus yard connection there for Roethlisberger as he adds to his total so far in this first half. Looking very comfortable back there. Play action to Dwyer straight up the middle. Again, avoiding the pressure, stepping up and finding. And open receiver once again, it's Emmanuel Sanders. And he has first down yardage all the way inside the Kansas City 35 to the 34-yard line.
Bob, there were guys back there. I'm wondering how Emmanuel Sanders can be standing still 25 yards down the field, wide open. Look at the protection. Very nicely done right there. Very nicely done by Gilbert. And he's just standing there wide open 25 yards down the field, and Ben rifles one to him. 6
different receivers have been involved tonight. Ben Roethlisberger spreading the wealth. This is what he likes to do.
Good stop route by Sanders. Well done.
Again, this time it's the handoff straight away, and it goes to Felix Jones, who just checked into the game. It's the new running back acquired in the trade yesterday with Adrian Robinson, number 23. Had a big opportunity in Dallas, did not live up to the hype, but now he gets a chance here.
And I believe it's going to stay in on third down, so we may see some either blocking skills or some pass catching skills. They might throw something a little short to him. But Felix Jones, the expectation is come in, sub. If the continued injury bug continues to hit the running backs, then you might find a home for you.
You can also say there's no guarantees he's going to make the roster here. We'll see how it goes, but Philadelphia had a chance, didn't like it. Roethlisberger going down the field, has his man. It's a Pittsburgh Steeler. No, they say incomplete. Emmanuel Sanders was right there. Brandon Flowers was on him. From our vantage point, it looked like he made that reception, but the official right there says, no, it's incomplete. Well, take a look.
Watch the infighting by Emmanuel Sanders, keeping body position. Let's see if it has. Look at that, coming right into your living room, folks. Beautiful over the shoulder throw. He goes down. There the ball is bobbled. You must maintain control. Bob, as you go to the ground, you must maintain control of the football. Let's watch it very closely. Great throw, great catch. That's the only place the ball goes. Now he goes to the ground. Now right here, you must maintain control of the football in order for that to be a reception. That is a correct call by the official.
Steelers have called timeout here. We'll see. And Tomlin appreciates the effort, but he said you did juggle it, so it's not going to count. We'll be back after this timeout live at Heinz Field. We're back. 10-0 Steelers trying to add to that lead. Looked like they had 6 until Brandon Flowers eventually knocked that ball away a little bit from Sanders. That's all it takes for the incompletion.
Yeah, what a great throw and catch. So we'll watch the ball just bobbles right there, comes up, and then he regains control. Unfortunately, he's out of bounds. Had he been rolling in the end zone, Bob, and had not touched out of bounds, that would have been a catch. But as you see, he slides out of bounds there, bobbling the ball, and the official is right on top of it in great position.
All right, so now it's 3rd and 9 for the Steelers as they try to go deeper into Kansas City territory. Again, pressure around the edge, and it hits Derek Johnson right in his hands there, and it goes incomplete. Roethlisberger looking for a quick hitter, could not make it happen. Johnson was back defensively.
It's a good thing, too, because Jericho Cotchery would have still been running. Look at that right there. Cotchery had a lot of running room there. That's a great read by the linebacker to come in there, and he knows it. Man, I should have had that one.
So now Sean Sweezum gets to show off the leg from 52 yards away. He hit a 60-yarder at camp. I mean, he's been doing that a lot. So the question is, can he do it right here at this end? Although there's no wind or no tundra to do it. Then it's blocked. Kansas City comes up. When you go at that 52 yards, you got to get more on a line drive. Jarvis Jones recovered, but Kansas City has the ball on a turnover. It looks like Tyson Hartman was the man who got his hands on it.
You know, every single game it seems like there's a breakdown in some special teams fashion.
All right, Kansas City will have it when we come back. It's 10-0 Pittsburgh. 10-0 Steelers. The defense chant begins here. Tomorrow, people. Stephen Jameson stands at the crossroads between the world we know and the future when he meets the people tomorrow. A genetically advanced race featuring telekinesis, teleportation, telepathy. A lot of tomorrow, people. Wednesday at 9. This is what happens when I'm trying to get the play off and not paying attention. It's on the CW, so check it out tomorrow. All right, here we go. Alex Smith now stepping up. Pressure's on. He's rolling to his left over the 50, the 40. Alex Smith is downfield blocking. Alex Smith finally gets knocked out of bounds as Cortez Allen, and a flag comes in. And you would think it's an extra penalty for a late hit, but man, was there a breakdown there. 37 yards on the gallop by Alex Smith.
Overrun by the outside rush. Looks like it may have been a late hit on the quarterback, but somebody could have been pushed into. William Gabe applying
Personal
pressure
foul.
and then foot.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 28 in the defense. Late hit out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal. First and goal.
Oh, he was actually hit by a chief.
That was unfair. He was hit from behind and pushed into the quarterback.
Right.
And I said, that's a little unfair there.
That was Anthony Fasano who hit him, and he had no choice but to go into Alex Smith. That's a bad call, clearly, but Mike Tomlin doesn't like it. You got to deal with it. And it's a first and goal as the Chiefs now knocking on the door, taking advantage of a block punt of a Sean Sweezen 52-yard field goal. He goes out in the flat. Jamal Charles back in. He gets hit by Ike Taylor and out of bounds. Palomalo also over there. But that was their best field position, Edmund. They had started tonight at the 20, the 12, their own 7, their own 10, their own 7. Now finally block punt. They got into Steeler territory and took advantage.
Yeah, courtesy block, long field goal, long field goal try, and just not enough blocking up the middle. Came right up the middle, looked like he blocked that kick.
Smith under center now. Kansas City trying to get on the scoreboard here. Charles following Sherman. Not much there as the Steeler defense again. Right up the middle, pretty stout. On the bottom you see Larry Foote. And what can you say about him? The ageless veteran. McClendon also in. But Larry Foote has been so good. And he still is a starter right now.
Talked to Larry Foote a little bit at training camp, and he said, you know, I can't believe it either. Went away one year. Things weren't quite right in Detroit. Came back to open arms. Dick LeBeau wanted to star back, and look at him now captaining that defense.
Smith fires in the flat. Has Charles who tries to stretch in but cannot do it. As Lawrence Timmons came over there to knock him short of the goal line. Nice play as they try to go underneath and use the speed of Charles, but it did not work.
That's just good work by the Steeler defense, tightening up in the red zone, trying to use Charles' speed to the outside, but again, you have Timmons, who's a sub 4.5 guy himself, coming out there, not allowing that to happen. Charles trying to stick it over the end zone or trying to hit the pylon with the ball, but nothing happened.
Ryan Suckup is on. This is kind of strange. Andy Reid goes for it from his own 20-yard line, but now here on 4th and goal, just a couple of yards to go, he chooses to bring in Ryan Suckup, who's pretty good from this distance, of course. And you might remember he did miss a 33-yard field goal at Heinz Field last year. The Steelers eventually won that game in overtime. Had he made it, they would have beaten the Steelers. Suckup, though, is one of those guys who also very reliable, and they turn the blocked field goal into a field goal of their own. And Kansas City, as a result, is on the board at 10-3. And now it's time to check once again the PNC scoreboard, brought to you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in you. The Pirates will take on the Giants tonight. And how about them? 4-1 on the current road trip. They'll send Liriano tonight, Burnett tomorrow with a chance to go 6-1. The Reds are getting shut out at home by the Brewers, who've been hard on them. The Cardinals looking to make it 3 straight over the Braves, leading 2-1, that one in the 5th inning. Seems to me that the Pirates are going to be in the playoffs. I don't see any collapse. I don't see the Diamondbacks carrying them, so it looks like it's going to be the Cardinals, the Reds, and the Pirates just jockeying for position. Who wins the division? The other two will go head-to-head in a one-game wild card. But
every time I see Liriano pitching, I have great confidence that he's going to get the job done. He's turned into quite a stopper. You know, he just comes in and just blows guys away. Great control.
No question. By the way, around the league tonight, Tavon Austin, we talked about Geno Smith having his troubles with 1 touchdown pass but 3 picks for the Jets. Tavon Austin has an 81-yard punt return setting up a Rams touchdown. And in Philadelphia, Michael Vick has hit Riley Cooper for a touchdown. And this kick goes out of the end zone. Felix Jones was back there waiting for an opportunity, but you know, the Eagles average 1 play every 23 seconds. Fastest team in the NFL. I think the average is like 28 seconds, but Chip Kelly wants up tempo. He's going to get up tempo. That's what they're doing right now.
Giving new meaning to no huddle, right? I mean, this guy has got some serious turnover, and I think they're going to get faster yet.
Number 68
if I know Chip Kelly.
Is an eligible receiver. Number 68
well,
is eligible.
Seems to suit Michael Vick and company.
That's the kind of offense that Michael Vick ran in college, remember? When he was at Virginia Tech, you know, it's pretty upbeat, pretty quick.
Once again, Kelvin Beachum is eligible. Thanks to PNC Bank for the Achiever, and you will check scores later again. As Ben Roethlisberger now on his own 20-yard line. 2 minutes 57 seconds left in this first half. There's to David Paulson, and he's hit immediately, and a short gain there as the Steelers will hustle up to the line of scrimmage now.
As good as a run there, a little 5-yard completion to get the drive started. Bringing in the run look with Beachum coming in and also staying in. So you really can't pick up any tendencies that the Steelers are going to run the football exclusively when Kelvin Beachum comes in as an extra tight end.
Marcus Wheaton, number 11 in the game now in that little bunch formation. Then once again, sings it out, and Wheaton is his intended receiver. He makes it, gets first down yardage, and Wheaton, very precise route running there in front of Brandon Flowers to get that first down yardage.
Wheaton has some quicks, Bob. I mean, you watch him explode off the line of scrimmage. He has separation, then puts the ball right where he needs to. But look, there's nobody around him. He comes out of that break so quickly. Very solid route runner for this early in his career.
And that is a 12-yard gain. It's the 7th receiver that Ben Roethlisberger has targeted and completed a pass to tonight. We have reached the 2-minute warning. It's 10-3 Steelers trying to add on before halftime. We'll be back after this. Back live at Heinz Field, 10-3. Steelers have a field goal by Sean Sweezum. They also have a touchdown pass, Ben Roethlisberger to Jonathan Dwyer. And after a blocked field goal by Kansas City on a Sweezum 52-yarder, they set up instead a Ryan Suckup field goal, and that's where you are right now. It's 10-3 as the Steelers go to work now with their 2-minute offense after a nice completion from Roethlisberger to Marcus Wheaton of 12 yards. Tamba Ali trying to power pass, and he can. Instead it goes to Dwyer underneath. Derek Johnson there. It's about 6 or so.
Good first down play there in the 2-minute drill. Dwyer finding a little bit of hole and getting a nice gain out of it, 6 yards.
Once again, we're out there. Here comes the blitz, and they get to Roethlisberger this time. They load it up, and they got it. And that's, you expected that at some point. Tyson Hartman was there. We believe he was the guy who blocked the punt, and he made that as well as Eric Berry. And boy, Eric Berry is a really special athlete for this team.
Well, they will come after you. This Kansas City defense.
30-second timeout.
Bob Sutton, defensive coordinator, has these guys moving all the time. Ben should have felt it just a little bit too late. Needed to get that one out of his hands and throw it away. Try to get something big happen on 3rd down.
Eric Berry might need a roadmap to go with his playbook because they're using him in a lot of different ways right now. Pass rusher as well as a pass defender. He might end up as their top sack man and pick man in the same year. He's that good of an athlete. Plays in the dime, plays in the nickel, and they kind of look at him as their Troy Polamalu in a way.
Move him around and give you different looks. That time they brought 2 defensive backs from the same side and had great coverage to the opposite side. Ben was trying to read a hot receiver. Apparently they did not read the blitz fast enough. Somebody should have cut their route off a little bit short to the side that Ben was looking if they had diagnosed that blitz.
So it's a 3rd and 13. Kansas City sensing another opportunity, calls timeout. A little wraparound handoff. Felix Jones to the outside. Derek Johnson in pursuit. He's their best tackler, and he knocks him out of bounds. Once again, Johnson out of Texas, 1st-round pick in 2005, still playing well. Felix Jones now, that's 2 carries. What do you think so far?
Well, I mean, it just shows a little bit of a burst there. I mean, not really hardly halfway trying and gets to the corner on a nice little gainer. Of course, they're playing prevent defense. He's got third and very long, but showing some speed.
So now it's Brian Moorman, who had a real high hanger the last time. He's going to kick away to Devin Wiley. He's been their man back there, and Wiley already in this preseason has a 52-yard punt return. They've had some big plays on special teams, and they'd like to get one here, although they already have a blocked field goal. Now there's a little action afterwards, a flag down. We'll see what the call is.
Flag down right just behind the line of scrimmage.
There is no foul on the play.
All right, that was just thrown maybe for exercise purposes, just to rev up the arm in case the preseason is not enough work for these guys.
Nothing wrong with a little laundry on the field every now and then.
Well, a little later in this broadcast, we're going to talk about Richard Mann, the Steeler new wide receiver coach, because this is a guy who's worked hard with these guys, and Mike Tomlin reached out to him. He hadn't been in football since 2009, but he was together with Tomlin at, I think it was 2002 at Tampa Bay, and he wanted some discipline, some guy coming in, taking charge of these young wideouts, and Richard Mann's done a very good job. He also got nailed last week in Washington.
Yes, he did.
We're going to talk a little bit about that, too. Kansas City will try now. 2-minute drill, see if they can get some points before the expiration of time here in the first half. Smith down the field has his man, Dwayne Bowe. He steps out of bounds. Cortez Allen was there in coverage, but Dwayne Bowe. They traded Jonathan Baldwin, which was a surprise, a number one pick, for another number one, A.J. Jenkins out of San Francisco. Both guys underachieving, and both were swapped for two busts
Trading
so far.
each other's bad wheels, it seemed like there, Bob, but both guys have talent. There's no question about that.
Well, they're looking for someone to complement Dwayne Bowe. They have some young kids, but they're hoping that Jenkins, he was 30th overall pick for the San Francisco Giants, but just amazingly, he didn't even touch the ball, I don't think, last year. And there's on stride, a nice catch there to Anthony Fasano, their tight end.
What a throw.
In coverage. It was Ryan Clark back there. And Troy also administered the hit.
What a throw by Alex Smith. I mean, that was right on the money. There wasn't a whole lot.
Timeout, Kansas City. Their third and final charge timeout. 30-second timeout. Put 1:08 back on the game clock.
A whole lot of room for error there. Fasano making a great catch. But I mean, that was put right on the shoulder pads.
Right there, beautiful throw. Fasano. He's been around. He was originally with Dallas as a second rounder, 8th year in the league. His best year came with the Miami Dolphins. He was active down there, but they don't have much help here. They drafted a couple of guys. They brought in a kid named Demetrius Harris as a walk-on, hoping that he follows like an Antonio Gates or a Jimmy Graham. He's a basketball player out of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, but they gave him a tryout. He's here, and we'll see him later in this game. Bunch formation to the left of Alex Smith as they enter into Steeler territory now, trying to get more points on the board, trailing 10-3. Here comes pressure off the edge. Larry Foote trying to get to Smith. Also Jarvis Jones at the zoo. Here comes the hit. And I'll tell you what, Alex got lit up. And there is a penalty flag, or is there down? Yes, there is, as Bowe goes out of bounds. But boy, you talk about being in a tough spot right there. He got drilled.
You could hear the pads popping. Look at
Personal
this move
foul.
by Jarvis Jones.
Unnecessary roughness. Hit to the head and neck area. This player, number 43 of the defense. 15 yards, added to the end of the play, first down.
The unfair thing about that call, and they're going to call that, and yes, it's the proper call, but the unfair thing is Troy Polamalu is top speed coming at there, and that's bang, bang. Release the ball, a shoulder blow, trying to miss the head and neck area, and yet he did hit it, and Alex Smith suffered the consequences, and there's a 15-yard penalty subsequent to the infraction. But that's just tough luck now in the NFL. It's just the way it is.
Total gain of 27 yards, 12 on the play, 15 on the penalty. And what about a wrap-up tackle? Cortez Allen has been just so textbook tonight, wrapping up a big man in Dwayne Bowe, who's 6'2", 220, but he made it look textbook perfect right there.
Cortez Allen, nice to see him healthy. It's a little bit of a gain there, but he's right there in good position, and that's how you play football in the preseason.
Smith now on target again. A nice play there by Timmons in coverage against Jamal Charles. And You know, those of you out there who think Troy maybe lost a step, I'll tell you what, he looked like he was shot out of a cannon on that play right there.
You know, Troy's light. Troy's lighter this year. I talked to him earlier. He said he lost quite a bit of weight after, during the year last year when he wasn't able to practice and run around and only tried to play in the games because he was banged up. So he looks real lean and mean. But right there you saw Timmons guarding Jamal Charles. How many middle linebackers in the NFL do you think can run step to step with a guy like Charles?
You're right. Polamalu, the 7-time Pro Bowler, member of the 2000s All-Decade Team, still going strong here, and hopefully he'll be healthy all year. Smith now from the shotgun, has some time, fires, Bo has it, dragging Ike Taylor with him, and that's going to be inside the 5, and it will be a first and goal situation. Time running out. Bo got inside of Taylor, and now they spike the ball.
That was a beautiful combination route by the tight end and the wide receiver. The tight end mixing it up right in the middle of the field, runs in and out route, and then the quarterback goes to the receiver, dragging across the middle. That's just beautifully executed right there. And that's what you see from the type of offense that has been instilled here at Kansas City. Andy Reid, great offensive mind.
Well, they're going to use Jamal Charles much like he did Shady McCoy in Philadelphia. And Charles may not get as many carries, but he's going to maybe get more all-purpose yards. Smith in the end zone. Quick pass, and he has his man for a touchdown. What can you say about that one? It was beautifully done. And Hemingway is the man who gets that touchdown, and William Gay in on that play. But it's a touchdown for Kansas City as they take advantage of their field position.
So tough to defend down in the red zone. All you need is just a little bit of a window, and that was wide open. Troy Polamalu probably had a little inside coverage on that. Will Gay had the outside, just a little bit of a window opened up, and there it was, touchdown.
Yeah, Junior Hemingway has done very well. Big guy out of Michigan. He's moved up the depth charts. As a matter of fact, this guy they acquired from San Francisco, A.J. Jenkins, the former #1, is going to have a hard time. He just got here, but he has Donnie Avery ahead of him. He has Hemingway playing ahead of him. They also have Dexter McCluster. They have a lot of different talented guys looking for the complement to Dwayne Bowe.
I haven't called Dexter's name tonight. Surprised not to see him in that receiving corps.
8 plays, 72 yards, taking up 1 minute of clock time, so pretty good 2-minute drill, which Dick LeBeau must not like.
And that's exactly what the Steelers wanted to do, to eat up that last 2:46. Had a couple of first downs and then just kind of stymied. Kansas City taking full advantage of the 2-minute drill. Alex Smith, a great general for this offense, seems to be very comfortable in it, even though this is his first year in it. Andy Reid had to be very happy with what he's seeing thus far.
There's Troy Polamalu. 4 tackles tonight, the big hit on Alex Smith, which was a penalty. They're going to call that all the time, but you're right. That's a tough situation for players to come in and, you know, how do you stop when you're trying to make a play? But you gotta be aware of what's going on there. They're going to call that every single time.
I've already seen this happen where guys come in full speed, tries to avoid, has some indecision about hitting a receiver that's defenseless. Receiver catches the ball, gets down, and scores because of the indecision. What do? You hit him anyway, or I mean, it's a tough situation for the defensive players to be put in.
All right, it's going to be Felix Jones back deep. But he will not be able to field that. Curtis Brown is being treated for some sort of injury, but Felix Jones, he wanted to get an opportunity to show what he can do there out of the end zone, and for the second time tonight cannot do it, although he has carried the ball twice in this game. For those of you just joining us, and I'm sure we'll see more in the second half.
So with 18 seconds on the clock, they kneel on it or they throw it? Looks like they're in the
no reason for anything but
victory formation. Yeah.
In a preseason game. That's the way this first half will come to an end. The Steelers got off to that 10-0 lead, only to see it go away. Roethlisberger goes to Dwyer to make it a 10-0 game after the Sweeson field goal, and then a block punt by Kansas City opened the door for a field goal, and it got things going for the Chiefs. Suckup converts, and then after that it's Alex Smith. Very nice job driving them down the field as he gets the touchdown to Hemingway, and that's where we are right now. It's 10-10 at halftime. We'll come back with halftime activities. Second half, a lot of new guys get in, and you're going to see some jobs on the line. We'll do that when we come back from Heinz Field. It's Steelers 10, Chiefs 10 on KDKA.
copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Now, this is the Steeler halftime report brought to you by Xfinity.
And welcome back, folks, to Heinz Field, a 10-10 tie. Good half of football the first half. I have an interview coming up with Jeff Rosella and Mike Tomlin to kind of peruse what's going on. And matter of fact, we have that for you now. Jeff, what's going on?
All right, thanks very much, Bob. Here with Coach Mike Tomlin. Coach, this is usually the dress rehearsal for the regular season. You got an extended look at your first teamers. Your thoughts about the offense? You put up 10 quick points in the first 2 possessions, then kind of stalled.
Yeah, we did some nice things. You know, we're a juggle and catch away from it being a very productive half offensively. I'd like to see us win the line of scrimmage more definitively. Not enough in terms of the run game. We talked about it at the half, but a decent start.
On the defensive side of the ball, you guys came out and played really well the first 3 possessions and gave up 10 points late.
You know, we don't give up points unless we get penalties and drives, and that's the point that we're making to the guys in there, not only in this game but all preseason. That's the reality of it. If we play clean football, we had a chance to play great defense. We didn't do it at the end of the half, and they scored 10 points because of it.
One of the penalties that perhaps may have taken points off the board, the chop block call against Jonathan Dwyer. Did you get an explanation as to why that was a penalty?
I got an explanation. I can't tell you I agreed with it.
All right, thanks very much, Coach.
All right.
Bob, back up to you.
All right, Jeff, thanks very much. I didn't agree with it either.
No, and I didn't
either.
agree
With the other call, too, the Cortez Allen one, because he was pushed into.
Yeah, but that's a late hit. You have to protect the quarterback. I didn't understand protecting the stars, but.
All right, let's talk about the offensive line, Edmund. That was your focus coming in. We saw some bad sporadic play in the first couple of weeks. Let's assess it right now.
Good protection up front. You know, they had to bring in Kelvin Beachum as a 5th blocker. He gets in there, but, you know, you see a nice wall. The guys are working together very nicely. And Ben Roethlisberger is helping them out, as you can see, stepping up into the protection. Lots of time to throw the ball. Not a whole lot of pressure there. And then when he does get pressure, when Mike Adams got beat there, Ben Roethlisberger, all he does is just step up into the pocket and make a throw for a touchdown. Great protection again. Ben Roethlisberger stepping up. And when he has that kind of time, Bob, he's going to throw for great accuracy and for great numbers. And thank goodness his night is done. That's all I need to see of him in preseason. What do you think?
No, there's nothing else you need to see with Ben. He's ready to roll. There's no question about that. You know, if he stays healthy, what he's capable of doing. And I thought last year he was having probably a career year before the injury. I believe 17 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and then the injury. And then things got out of kilter a little bit. But, you know, you're one play away from being injured in this game, and some of the weaknesses can be exposed, and we'll see.
161 yards or so. Ben Roethlisberger, very solid night. Get your rest, young man. Let the backups do what they have to do. Good to see Bruce Gradkowski.
Yes, Mr. Grad. The Gradkowski family, Bruce, Debbie, the mom and dad, and the entire family. It's a great story. And also, how about this family feud? Gino Gradkowski starting center with the Baltimore Ravens. He has a ring before Bruce got one. All right, now you got Felix Jones getting his first opportunity as a kick returner, weaving his way and getting close to the 20, but not quite there. They want to see more of him in that role because if you remember in Dallas early in his career, he had a couple of those long returns.
Yes, very smooth acceleration. Really doesn't look like he's running as fast as he is, and yet he just gets it moving and can break tackles. And he's a very, very nice runner. It's hard to believe that he hasn't had more success than he's had in the NFL.
All right, Bruce Gradkowski in. Some of the regulars are still in there. I guess Coach Tomlin is going to pick and choose who he wants to see more of. The first team offensive line, he's going to give Gradkowski an opportunity to play with them. They remain in there, Sanders and Brown. And Felix Jones is the running back. That's the only difference. This quarter is brought to you by Xfinity, the future of awesome. And off to 23, and nice little cut there at the line of scrimmage, gets extra yardage. Don Terry Poe wraps him up, but Johnson came in and missed him, and Felix Jones gets a few extra yards as a result.
And that's what you see with Felix Jones, a little shiftiness in the backfield real quick. Watch a little stutter step, hands the ball deep, really hasn't been in this offense. And look, a nice little cut, finds a seam, and he gets north and south. That's what you have to love about a running back. Get north and south and get your pads low.
Are you a big believer of change of scenery? We see Mendenhall heading out west. We see Felix Jones heading here. What can that do for a player?
You know, I was talking to my brother the other day. He was watching Rashard Mendenhall play, and he said he had a pretty good game. So that might be just what he needed. Again, you see a guy in Felix Jones having changed scenery twice. Maybe he finds a home here. There's not one for him right now with everybody healthy, Bob. But a guy like that can show you some mettle, and you may want to just keep him around. And you never know the way the injuries go during the year. This might be a guy that makes a great impact.
Yeah, a lot of good stories over the years of people who've changed scenery, and it's helped. The scenery, however, does not change in between the yard lines. It's still the same. And if you know what you're doing there, you're going to do it. Bettis took advantage, but that was a different story. Bettis was a proven commodity. That was a second-round pick. He was traded here, Felix Jones, for Adrian Robinson, both kind of guys who may not even make each of these rosters here and in Philadelphia. But, point well taken. We'll see what it does. Certainly, the Steelers are going to give him every opportunity here because they don't have a lot of guys available right now.
Right. And now this is what you see, Gradkowski with the number 1 guys, and just the change in cadence.
False start, illegal snap. Number 53 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Marquise Pouncey called for that one last week. A lot of these guys were penalized. A lot of holding calls. Pouncey had his hands full with Barry Cofield, which is nothing embarrassing. Barry Cofield can play at the nose, and he gave him a couple of swim moves, got around him.
You haven't seen that kind of nonsense though tonight from Pouncey, and that's what you expect out of your Pro Bowl center.
Emmanuel Sanders, who had a touchdown in the end zone but let it bobble out of his hands. That was going to be a big play. Gradkowski stepping up, fleet of foot, and he's tackled there. And it's Justin Houston who comes in from his linebacker spot to make that play.
So a penalty stymies the drive. 3rd down, no good, and not a very good first series for Bruce with the new guys, the veterans, but he'll get another shot.
Once again, it's Devin Wiley back deep. This time it's Drew Butler who takes over in the second half. Brian Moorman did the punting in the first half. We'll see what he can do as that competition continues to unfold. This is a high kick by Butler. It will be returned, however, by Wiley, who does have a return already in this preseason, trying to show his speed to the outside. Wiley to the 40 to the 50. It's a block down the field. There's a block in the back, however, and the flag does come in. But Wiley's a guy out of Fresno State, a 4th-round pick last year. They like his speed. 52-yard punt, 28-yard return, pending the outcome of this flag.
Jason Worlds looks like he got shook up a little bit at the end of that play. Can ill afford to lose some depth at outside linebacker. Not a whole lot of depth there.
During the return, holding. Return team, 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
All right, new quarterback coming in for Andy Reid. That's going to be Chase Daniel, who was brought here from New Orleans. He's the backup to Alex Smith. We'll see him first time under center when we come back. We're back. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson, Jeff Brazell. It's a 10-10 game. I want to remind you about the 36th annual Richard S. Caligiuri City of Pittsburgh Great Race. It's going to be held Sunday, September the 29th. You can log on to rungreatrace.com to enter right now and get more information. It truly is a great race. September the 29th. Chase Daniel in a quarterback now. Signed a 3-year, $10 million deal, coming here as the primary backup to Alex Smith. Delivers a little bit behind his man. It's Avery. It looks like the Steeler. Jason World says he might have it. No, they say possession goes to the receiver, but there is a flag on the play. World's in coverage.
Be interesting to see what this call is, because that was very good coverage by the Steelers. Jason World's getting deep on his drop.
Andy Reid, you saw him, and
Illegal contact. Number 28 in the defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
Cortez Allen may be a little too aggressive. He's been aggressive all night, which is a good thing. Gain of 14 yards there. Chase Daniel continues to call the signals for Andy Reid, who had such a good run in Philadelphia, especially from 2002 to 2005, 48-16, 4 division titles, NFC championship games, and a drop by Dwayne Bowe, the veteran right there, all by himself, in and out of his hands.
It's amazing what the change at quarterback does. You know, we just saw something with Gradkowski with the change in cadence, and then the sure-handed Dwayne Bowe receiving a pass from Chase Daniels, and it hit him right in the hands. you know, the velocity of the ball probably had a little something to do with it. It's just, it's amazing how that happens, and always happens with a change of quarterback.
Daniel, pressure up the middle, zings it, has a man there, Anthony Pisano. He's ridden down by Lawrence Timmons. What can you say about Timmons? He has been just so good. He's only missed 2 games in his entire career out of Florida State. First round pick in 2007. Last year led the team in tackles, interceptions, and sacks.
Young kid too when he came into the NFL. Has grown up. He's a 20-year-old when he came to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very, very young.
Third and short now as they bring in the beef package. Sherman, the lead fullback. They pitch it to Niall Davis. Sherman leading. Davis gets fumble comes out. It looks like it's loose. Who has it? And it is Pittsburgh's ball. The Steelers have recovered. Troy Polamalu, who's been all over the place and still playing. He comes away with a football. Davis looked to have first down, and all of a sudden the ball came out.
Playing on the Kansas City Chiefs side of the line of scrimmage. Look at the strip. And Troy Polamalu, look what I found.
Polamalu got the ball, but Edmund Nelson, it was 99 doing the heavy dirty work right there.
Well, you see the beard doing work coming across. Watch the big paw of the beard sneak in there right there. Great work, guys. Gets in there, gets his hand on the ball. Fumble! And look at Troy jump on it. Fortuitous. That's what you see. What you didn't see is the Steelers attacking that right side of the line of scrimmage and forcing it backwards. Great play.
Steelers were -10 last year in the takeaway giveaway department. Felix Jones with a nice burst up the middle off the right side of that offensive line. Following some good blocking there by DeCastro, Gilbert. In fact, the 2 tackles and Ramon Foster come together on a little high five. So open up a nice hole, Felix Jones.
You know, I could have sworn I just saw them try to chest bump, and I don't know if 350 pounds can get off the ground for 2 players that size.
5 carries, 22 yards for Jones, who just picked up a playbook last night. He just got in, passed the physical. Thought he might be active for about 10 plays or so, but he's getting the ball a lot right now. Nice little sidestep at the line of scrimmage. He gets first down yardage once again. So Felix Jones, who was not in favor in Philadelphia, getting a second chance here, or a third chance if you look at his time in Dallas, taking advantage tonight.
That offensive line, the pads are popping, the guys are really coming off, and what you have to like about Felix Jones is the way that he squeezes into holes and works in between the tackles. This is a guy that you know, can find his way around. If you give him just a little bit of a crease, you can see that first play he almost broke it, and then the second one where it looked like there was very little there, he kind of squeezed in there and eked out 6 or 7 yards.
All right, another new set of downs for the Steelers following the Jones back-to-back runs, and he's going to get it again, this time off left tackle. Left guard, he gets 2 yards before immediately Johnson came up and made the play. Nico Johnson out of Alabama, the 3-time national champ under Nick Saban down there in Bama.
Yeah,
I had to rub that in.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We War Eagles.
You get Cam Newton on Thursday when we're down in
All
Carolina.
right, there we
tell
go.
me all you want about national championships.
I feel a little better about it now.
Nico Johnson is forcing Akeem Jordan at the linebacker spot. Jordan was brought here. He's a kind of a holdover from Andy Reid. He played with him in Philadelphia. He liked him, so he brought him in here. But Johnson's a good young player, and they like what they've seen so far from the 3-time national champ. Witkowski now, handoff. Once again, Jones with some real estate. Nice burst right there as he gets first down yardage to the 40-yard line, but there is a penalty flag down.
Holding. Number 53 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Have to see if we see something there, Bob, but Marquise Pouncey certainly did not agree with it, and Mike Tomlin is absolutely disgusted with drive-killing penalties. Here's Marquise right there, and he's behind the play, and the flag. You know, you hate to see a flag come after the action is passed. The play, you hate to see a flag come in and bring a play back, but if he was holding, certainly right in there. We don't quite know if that was a call that had to be made, but have to keep your hands off the guys.
5 penalties for 52 yards. The second penalty on Pouncey. This time Felix Jones has nowhere to go as the line collapsed. Good pressure there by the Chiefs on so many different levels right there. nowhere to go, and it goes for, it looks like a 1-yard loss.
Stop by Hartman.
That was kind of a questionable call when you're in 2nd and 20, don't you think? I mean, you're going to run the ball again. I mean, maybe the Steelers are trying to see something out of their run game, but you know the Kansas City Chiefs are kind of preparing for that now, especially given the fact that the Steelers have some injuries in the offensive backfield and don't want to get any more, but you would think you're going to get a pass here with Gradkowski being in the shotgun.
3rd down, 18 yards to go for the Steelers to continue this drive here as they have kind of shot themselves in the foot here. Gradkowski now steps up, looking long down the field. Has a man, Emmanuel Sanders, and in coverage right there to make that play was Jalil Brown. But Sanders was down there and just couldn't get his hands on it.
You know, Sanders has shown some great speed. He's finally healthy, but you see him, he had to kind of wait on the ball. That ball could have been lofted a little bit earlier and towards the inside because he had one-on-one coverage and had a good opportunity to make another big play. Of course, one was called back, the touchdown that he had earlier.
Steelers continue to look for that home run threat that Mike Wallace had served so long. Butler with a punt this time. It's Wiley once again, gets a chance to return and takes it at the 10-yard line. Wiley now trying to get away from and cannot do the tackle there. And that is Ross Petrone, kid out of Villanova and Chartiers Valley High School with the long flowing hair. If you didn't know any better, you thought it was Troy Polamalu. Kansas City back in business. When we return to Heinz Field, we are deadlocked right now at 10. All right, we're back. 10-10 is the score. 7:41 left, 3rd quarter. Take 2 on this for me. It's the tomorrow people. Stephen Jameson stands at the crossroads between the world we know and the future when he meets the tomorrow people, a genetically advanced race featuring telekinesis, teleportation, and telepathy. It's the tomorrow people, Wednesday at 9 this fall, Pittsburgh CW. Make sure you tune in. All right, the Steelers now with a bunch of guys who are looking to make the roster on the field right now. Daniel under pressure, hits his man once again, and it's Wiley who spins away from the coverage of Hawthorne, who just checked into the game, a Steelers draft pick this year. Terry Hawthorne out of Illinois, the 5th round pick.
Chase Daniel now trying to run the hurry up, trying to get his guys lined up.
Steelers need to see some good work by their linebackers, too, in this grouping here. It's a deflected pass. Nice tackle there by the Steelers, and it's Curtis Brown who makes that play on Junior Hemingway, short gainer.
You know, Stevens and Sylvester is banged up today, Bob, so he's not going to be in there. And quite frankly, his job could be in a precarious situation because he has not gotten a lot of snaps and has been oft injured. And the backup linebackers that you see in the game right now, when Brian Roll, for one, has been having a pretty good camp. Terrence Sharp and another one.
Steelers come after Daniel. And they miss him. He gets the ball away, but he throws it out of bounds. Nice pressure there. Eventually, he was actually hit down to the turf. But
quarterback's out of the pocket.
So the quarterback is out of the pocket. Getaways, no grounding on that play, but a lot of pressure. It's good to see that.
Great
up
pressure.
The middle.
With Jarvis Jones coming in, and the pads are popping. See him come in and hit that. Look at that push on the running back. That's exactly what a linebacker is supposed to do to a running back, and that is destroy him and get to the quarterback. Just get some release, get those arms extended, get some release, and get a grab on the quarterback. Could have had a sack there.
Cam Hayward finishing him off, and they need to see more from Cam Hayward, no doubt. Former #1 pick. Ziggy Hood looked good in the first team. Pressure again on Daniel, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Junior Hemingway. And again, pressure results in an incompletion, which means the Chiefs will punt the ball away to the Steelers.
It's a good series. There's some guys on the second team, some backups that want to play and have been getting some looks. Brian Roll has been very solid.
All right, we're going to get a chance to look at Reggie Dunn, a guy who has a lot of electrifying speed. We've seen and been tantalized by a little bit of it so far in this camp. The Steelers would like to see more. Colquitt gets that punt away. It's another high one. Dunn will take it, and he calls a fair catch at the 20-yard line. Had a little bit of room. Maybe could have tried to do something with it. Instead, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Steelers as they try to march 80 yards. We are in the 3rd quarter. It's still Kansas City 10, Pittsburgh 10, live at Heinz Field. We're back. Lots of changes for the Steelers to talk about in a second. But right now it's time once again for the PNC scoreboard, presented by PNC Bank for the Achiever and you. And Francisco Liriano's off to a tough start as Tim Lincecum is on the mound for the Giants. It's 4-0 San Francisco. The Reds have come back now and they lead the Brewers, and the Cardinals are trying to make it 3 straight over the Braves. So the Pirates need to maintain leadership of the division by winning tonight. If not, the Cardinals will pull into a tie, and the Cardinals are hot at home. More on the PNC scoreboard a little bit later.
Lincecum cut his hair, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He's no longer the freak. Here's the pass to Derek Moy. Looked like behind the line of scrimmage. Picks it up, ruled incomplete. Gradkowski goes to Moy, who had a touchdown pass last week in Washington from Landry Jones. More scores on the PNC scoreboard. Some of the games from around preseason football. The Colts beating the Browns tonight. I don't know what to expect from the Browns, Edmund. The Bengals I expect a lot. People look at them as a legit Super Bowl contender.
To win the AFC North, no question.
And the Ravens, we saw them in action against the Panthers. That'll be our next game coming up on Thursday. The Steelers travel to Carolina for the final preseason game before they make that cut down to 53. 75 this week, then 53. After that, pressure. Gradkowski was the fair and batch. He spins away, finally gets hit as he crosses the 20 to about the 23-yard line. And there is a flag on the play.
Might be a late hit on the quarterback here.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 34 of the defense. Blow to the helmet. 15 yards, automatic first down.
That was Vince Agnew who came in and did that.
Little swipe at the head. You can't do that. They are looking for it. You could see the referee right in the background grabbing the flag and throwing it as that happened. No blows to the head and neck area, Bob. None.
None. They're not going to tolerate it. As we saw earlier on Alex Smith running out of bounds. He got Cortez Allen, even though Allen was pushed into him. But then Polamalu lit him up, and he was rightfully called for that. So now it goes the other way. Gradkowski hands off. Batch trying to sidestep a couple of would-be tacklers, and he does. Gets out to about the 42-yard line. We talk about guys on this line. We've talked about Calvin Beachum. Number 62 is John Malecki for the Steelers. And it's an amazing story. You know, Franklin regional guy. He's been, how about, 10 times released by teams, including 4 times by the Steelers. He's trying to hang on. He's only played in 1 regular season game. It was right here at Heinz Field, which means he played here at Heinz Field as a high school player, a college player, and now a pro player.
That's amazing. And he's not bad, Bob. I can tell you that. He's not bad at all. Plays very well. The only thing that might hurt him is that the Steelers, when they get down to their 7 or 8 offensive linemen, you're looking for guys that show some versatility, and he is the backup center. But, Beachum has been all up and down that line playing every single position. So the fact that he's a center guard type, whereas Beachum has played every single position, when you start getting down to the real fine cuts, that might be where Beachum maybe separates himself.
Beachum, I'll tell you what, from a guy who was drafted in the 7th round last year, stepped up. He played in those final 5 games. He did a very good job, and I think they really like him in sort of that role of Doug Legursky. Mr. He can do just about everything when you need him, including center, which is good to know. And now the Steelers in a little confusion call a timeout.
Gradkowski trying to get everybody lined up properly, so he's got to go and get a little talk on the sidelines, make sure that everybody's on the same page.
We'll take a break, return to Pittsburgh's Heinz Field right after this on the Steeler Television Network. We're back, still 10-10 third quarter. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson in the booth, Jeff Frisella downstairs. Tune into Reign this year on Pittsburgh CW. Teenage Mary, Queen of Scots, already a headstrong monarch, has been sent to France to secure Scotland's strategic alliance through an arranged engagement to the king's son. But the match depends more on politics than affairs of the heart. It's Reign, Thursday at 9 this fall, Pittsburgh CW. This time Gradkowski steps up in the pocket, as his man, and that's Justin Brown out of Penn State. Gets up, doesn't get much else as they get to midfield, but a flag once again on the play. Justin Brown trying to make this team as a reserve receiver.
He leads to hands to the face, number 68 on the offense.
That's Beachum.
10-yard penalty, still third down.
Well, we didn't have all that many penalties in the first half comparatively to the first 2 games, but all of a sudden they're starting to add up here in the second half, which is something the coaches just hate to talk about, as the Steelers now have 6 for 62 yards.
Well, you can see Mike Thomas' reaction there. I mean, it brings you can get no tempo. There's no tempo at all when you have that kind of drive-killing penalty to come out there. You just got a critical first down to keep the drive alive, and it brings the action to an absolute halt. Bob, it's very, very disconcerting and frustrating for a head coach to watch his team go through that.
Gronkowski now fakes the inside handoff to Batch. Over the middle, poised, fires, and he has his man. And it's the backup tight end, Michael Palmer, out of Clemson, who was just signed here a couple of weeks ago. And he makes first down yardage as they're looking for guys. Looks a little shaken up. A gain of 25 yards for Michael Palmer.
And that's right the way to get it back. Now watch Gronkowski. Look at the protection. Very nice. Steps up into the pocket and delivers a strike. And there you have one of the low blows. You can't hit him in the head. So we've seen some horrendous injuries to knees, particularly to the tight end. I believe it was in Miami with a defensive back going low like that. But you can't hit him anywhere else. So those kinds of things are going to happen. That could have been a career-ending injury to that tight end in Miami, I believe.
Joe Long now in the tackle for the Steelers, the right side of the line. Barrett Batch cuts back, makes a nice read, gets a good 6 yards on the play before he's finally knocked down there. Batch coming off a stinger, coming off an assortment of injuries since he became a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Tough guy, little guy. I mean, he'll get in there and he'll pass protect, hit a linebacker in the face. He's done everything that he can do to try to stay around. Just hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity. Had the knee injury there his first year. Was really coming in to possibly be the third down back even in his rookie year, and yet finds himself in a battle at trying to make the team again this year.
Once again, it's Batch who takes the handoff, and he gets close to first down yardage as he surges ahead. Baron Batch was a third-round pick, you remember, out of Texas Tech. Had IR with the right arm last year, knee injury in 2011. Both years ended on the IR.
Good work by that offensive line. That second-team offensive line in there, bodies flying around, trying to get some yardage. This will be a telltale sign. Now, what are they going to do? They kind of try to fool them and maybe go to the air, or are they just going to line up, try to knock somebody off the ball and get a first down? My guess is they're going to go straight ahead, tight formation, and get a first down, or at least try at it.
And you would be not
That's right.
Play action out of it. Gronkowski going down the field. Marcus Wheaton is there, and Marcus Wheaton has the touchdown. A beautiful throw by Bruce Gronkowski to the rookie. Marcus Wheaton for 34 yards, and the Steelers take the lead.
Beautifully executed, Bob. Did you see the tempo? They hurry up, got out of the huddle, got to the line of scrimmage. Everybody thinks it's going to be a tight run. And all you need to do is give Marcus Wheaton just a little bit of an edge. Not quite the kind of speed we're used to seeing here, but speedy enough. And look at the throw by Gronkowski. Play action, lofted up in the air. That's right on the money. That's beautiful.
It really is. And double coverage back there, too. You saw the speed of Marcus Wheaton. We've heard glowing things. We've seen him on the field. We've seen precision running. They're still looking for that home run threat. This guy has the speed to do it. Will he replace Mike Wallace? That's hard to do, and you can't expect that as a rookie. But down the road, he shows you the kind of stuff that made the Steelers select him out of Oregon State, where he broke so many records.
Well, I'm seeing three guys that can stretch the field, though. Antonio Brown can do it. He did it tonight. Emmanuel Sanders can do it. He also did it tonight. And now Marcus Wheaton has shown you that he can get deep. That was double coverage. He just outran everybody. Two guys there just showing the fleetness of foot, and the throw was absolutely on the money. Throw the ball where your receiver can run under it. That's exactly what happened. Gronkowski with showing a wonderful touch on that deep pass.
That was an 8-play, 80-yard drive, occupying 4 minutes and 30 seconds. We've been watching the rookies on our Cal U Rookie Watch, and Wheaton is a guy who, he showed you a big play last week. Landry Jones put a nice pass to him. And tonight, 2 more catches, none bigger than that one right there, as he burned everyone. And this is a kid who caught 100 passes, senior school record at Oregon State. Actually, close to 100. I think 95 was the actual count. But he can get it done. And
he has to play. He has to play, Bob.
And once again, Kansas City, Niall Davis is going to try to bring it out, and he does. Davis over the 20, the 20 by the 30. Now the foot race is on. Davis down the sidelines. Niall Davis is going to go the distance here. 20, 10, touchdown. He did that earlier in camp. 109 yards as he took it to the house. Niall Davis had a 79-yard kick return against New Orleans. He betters that by 30 yards here, 109 yards, and all of a sudden that 7-point lead is going to evaporate.
Josh Victorian, I believe, dives at the ground and misses this tackle. There's a wide open tackle. Look at the left side of your screen there. Right there, just absolute miss, a complete whiff of a tackle. Keep your head up, put your face in his numbers, and drive him to the ground. You got to wrap up, and he just dove to the ground. That's not going to look good on film.
Niall Davis was a 3rd-round pick this year out of Arkansas, and they liked what he did with, he's got great speed at it, and he averaged 6.3 yards a carry, but his problem was fumbling. He fumbled 7 times last year alone, and they were worried about that. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he ended up in the 3rd round, but man, the guy can make things happen, especially on special teams, and they've been terrific all preseason in special teams.
And to that end, the Steelers have been very
kick is good. 1:45 remaining in the 3rd.
Another area of concern, but again, change of coaches, change of philosophy takes some time, and that's what preseason is for.
Watch this very closely now. Josh Victorian has a shot at him, and I think it's a wide open shot. Here he is coming into your screen right here. Little move to the inside, ducks his head. Oh, you don't want to go in the film room on that. You have to make that tackle. That's one of those where you just hold your head down in the back of the film room, Bob. Please don't show that again. Please don't show it again.
See, this is the argument, though. A lot of people don't want preseason games. They want 1 or 2. They want to get rid of 4. Coaches want to work things out.
You have to get a look at guys.
And given the way camps are handled now with days off, and they're trying to be very aware of the injuries and giving guys days off, I think you need games to sharpen this kind of stuff. And I think coaches prefer more games. Players prefer fewer games.
Well, you're going to have, eventually it might come to this where you have 2 preseason games, but imagine the sloppiness that you're going to see in football games when you go to the regular season in week 3 or 4 with 1 week off. It's going to take you another couple of weeks for the teams to get sharp, I believe.
All right, so now it's Felix Jones to see if he could counter. He takes it to the goal line. Jones trying to cut inside. And the Chiefs are there on special teams to make the tackle once he crosses the 20 to about the 22-yard line. So all of a sudden, 14 points in a span of about 25 seconds. And we're 17 apiece. Gradkowski coming off that nice touchdown pass to Wheaton. It was a situation where people were looking for the run. Kansas City had guys stacked in the box. Next thing you know, play action, boom, down the field, and that's what home run hitters do, and that's what Wheaton did to get the Steelers back into the end zone. Now they go to work again. Drove 80 yards the last time, trying to go 78 this time. And it's Baron Batch. And he eventually gets knocked down there by Edgar Jones, the linebacker.
Good interior running by Baron Batch. The offensive line working hard in there. Big Chris Hubbard, that left guard in there trying to open up a hole.
Guy Wimpers in at right guard. He had a tough game against Washington last week as well. And Wimpers is a guy who's been around out of East Carolina. This is actually his 8th NFL season. He's been released a few times. And if you watched last week, you understand why. He needs to get more secure when it comes to blocking in pass formations. Here's Gradkowski now. Pressure around him, and he's going to get sacked out as everything collapses down. And once again, he goes down there. It's Anthony Toribio with the sack.
Kelvin Beachum did a nice job on pass protection. He ran his guy all the way around, but his guy got a piece of the, as you see him right here. That's a good job getting back set, but now Gradkowski has to get rid of it and doesn't get a chance to throw it away. The wily veteran, he knows he has to get rid of that one. Too much traffic in there. Didn't want to make a bad throw across the middle of the field.
Number 51, Frank Zombo, was also in on the tackle for Kansas City. And those of you who Followed the Steelers in the postseason. Remember that name. He was an undrafted guy. Here's a slant to Derek Moore, who spins away. Derek Moore out of Rochester had a touchdown last week. Gets nice yardage there out to about the 39-yard line. It's going to be a first down as he evades Nico Johnson. Nice play by Gradkowski to Moy.
Nice spin move also. The quick hitter and then spinning out of a tackle and getting upfield. A little stiff arm.
This is the end of the third quarter.
Showing some strength.
Gain of 15 yards right there as we end the third quarter from Heinz Field. 2 touchdowns late in this quarter has it 17 apiece, and we'll be back after this.
By PNC Bank for the achiever in you. And by Treasure Hunt, paying the most for your gold, silver, jewelry, coins, and diamonds.
We're back. Fourth quarter underway. It's Marcus Wheaton again from Bruce Gradkowski. Steelers ran 19 plays in that third quarter to the Chiefs 8. Jalil Brown comes up, stops him not before. Another catch for Wheaton.
Gradkowski got up limping a little bit there. Got a late hit, but was in the pocket long enough to deliver a strike to Wheaton. Hopefully he's all right. Looks like he's okay.
Derek Moore is an interesting case here. You know, they have guys who they really like, and he's made some plays here. He had a very nice career at Penn State after winning championships at Rochester High School. See if he can hang on to this team. There's another one behind him. He makes the play, and he gets some yak yards. He gets away from Jalil Brown. Gradkowski 6 for his last 6, and another one to Derek Moy. First down, Steelers.
He's more elusive than you think, too, don't you? You know, he doesn't have the great speed, but he's speedy enough. And you love guys that just catch the football. That's Gradkowski. It's a little 3-step drop, and then look at the move. Straight upfield. Love that. Get north and south. And he's a little more elusive and a little stronger than defensive backs might take him for.
Derek Moy, nice career at Penn State, 3-year starter up there, 18 touchdowns. He was also, here's Alvester Alexander as he burst through for a gain of 12 yards. He's been getting a lot of action, but Derek Moy was the 2005 WPIAL Player of the Year, so he's got the pedigree.
Look at this, wide open here. That's a Bob Pompiani hole right there. Get up in there, Bob. Run it. Alvester Alexander doing a nice job meandering his way on up the field. Good blocking by that second group.
Are you telling me I could hit the hole like that? Or
absolutely, Bob. You're fleet. I've seen you run on the treadmill.
Alvester Alexander's gotten a lot of work here. He's brought in, I think, also because of the injury situation. They kind of like what he does. Not much going there. Blocking broke down. Palmer missed his block, and there were a bunch of white shirts there for a loss. But he's a kid who, you know, came here out of Wyoming, signed on August the 7th, had to learn a lot. Edgar Jones makes that play, but he's learned quickly, it looks like.
Yeah, picked it up very quickly, and you know, he's one of those guys. He's not going to impress you that much with great speed or whatever, but he is a guy that can get it done. Trying to find a home. Alvester Alexander, 5'11", 213.
Yeah, he's a strong runner, there's no doubt here on second out for Gradkowski. He goes into the end zone now, looking for and finding Marcus Wheaton, but he's out of the end zone. He did not get the feet down. Ran over a photographer there, but Wheaton was again in position to make a play.
If you go to camp, Bob, you see the quarterbacks right about at that position, 30, 35-yard line, and they had a trash can lined up, and you could see them doing this little drill where they're trying to throw the ball in the trash can. It's a tall trash can, like 6 feet, and that's exactly the throw that they're practicing on right there, trying to dump it into a spot where the receiver can run under it, right in the corner of the end zone or right at the pylon. And it's amazing how many times you saw the quarterbacks actually throw the ball into the trash can. At that time, the trash can being Marcus Wheaton was just a little bit out of bounds with that throw.
Third down now for Gradkowski here. Collapsing around him is the pocket, and there goes his helmet. There's going to be a penalty there. Gradkowski got hit up high, and it looks like Frank Zombo potentially got him there. Zombo's the guy I was telling you about. He played against the Steelers in Super Bowl 45 with Green Bay and had a big day with a sack and 5 tackles, but this time he might be called for the unnecessary roughness.
Helmet opening. Number 51 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Zombo's nasty, isn't he? I mean, he gets back there and he creates havoc.
He's out of Central Michigan, went undrafted, but carved a career out, and like I said, played in that Super Bowl. right off the bat and got a sack in that game as the Steelers lost it to Green Bay down in Dallas.
Big number 79, Joe Long's got to do a better job against him.
Steelers now moving to the Heinz red zone again tonight. Looking to turn that into a touchdown once again. Last 3 third down conversions all were long. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 12. That one, by virtue of the penalty, gives them an opportunity. Gradkowski looking for it, finding Derek Moy, who hangs on. Now he drops it. Boy, it was a tough catch to make there because there was a lot of coverage down the field there. Good coverage overall by Kennard Cox, but Moy had it and then just could not hold on.
Well, if you watch this, it could have been better as a back shoulder throw. He had to go up over the cover guy to get that, almost came down with it, but if you throw that to his back shoulder back here, he has a much more of an opportunity to catch that ball. Very nearly made a great play and showing the hops. Did you see him get up? Almost caught it anyway.
Yeah, I think the Steelers have liked what they've seen from Derek Moy in this camp. I think there were some questions coming in, but he might be sticking around when they make some cuts. We'll see. And there's a slant pattern going to Wheaton that goes by him. Incomplete on the play. Coverage there by Jalil Brown.
Just a bit outside with that throw.
They're down at 10.
You know, a guy we haven't seen all that much in this preseason is David Gilreath, and he was a guy who last year came on pretty strong in this camp. But I think Moy and Reggie Dunn, we'll see if he has an opportunity. The special teams, he hasn't really gotten that many chances, but he has the speed. And Alvester. Alexander, and he gets down inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line.
Almost busted. Not a bad play call there. It was wide open in the middle. They spotted it. Had the little sprint draw. Alvester found a seam.
All right, sets up a field goal situation now as the Steelers are sending out Sean Sweesom. He made one today, also had one blocked. The 28-yarder was good in the first quarter, but then the 52-yarder was blocked, and it got Kansas City on their way into their first points of the night. This one is up and good for Sweesom, who makes it, and the Steelers have now regained a lead of 20-17. They've never trailed in this game, led 10-0, was 10-10, then 17-10, 17 apiece, and now Steelers up 3 at Heinz Field. We're back. Steelers have taken the lead once again at 20-17. Want to remind you, program-wise, about another show coming to KDKA. It's Hostages, a high-octane drama starring Emmy Award winner Toni Collette as a surgeon thrust into a chilling political conspiracy when her family is taken hostage by rogue FBI agent Duncan Carlisle, Dylan McDermott. Check out Hostages Monday at 10 this fall on KDKA TV and CBS. All right, it's Sean Sweesom kicking off now, and back deep this time is Frankie Hammond. And Kansas City has taken him out of the end zone all night long. It didn't work early on. Field position was a problem, and then Niall Davis took it back 109 yards. Flag is down on this play as J.D. Woods is over there to make a tackle on special teams.
Holding, number 40 of the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And another special teams faux pas by the Kansas City Chiefs, backing them up. Another poor field position starting point.
That's what happened in the first half, and then the first 4 possessions were really deep in their own zone, own territory, and then all of a sudden, I guess the word is, hey, take it out, see what we got. We're trying to evaluate people, and they've taken them all out tonight. One worked for 109 yards. The rest of them have not.
And that's just a takedown right there. It would have been good for the WWE.
We're back. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson up here in the booth. Jeff Frizella downstairs. Steelers lead by 3. Reminder to join us each and every Sunday night for the #1 Conference Sports Showdown on KDKA. We're going now for 16 years with that program, and we have a lot of great opinions every Sunday at 11:35. Chase Daniel now avoids pressure, sings it down the field, and has his man at tight end. Ross Patrone comes over and ministers the hit there to get out of Char Valley, but Kevin or make that 81. Tony Moyake is the guy who made that reception. Petrone hit him afterwards.
Great play to get off the shadow of their goal line. A little bit of pass rush, but not nearly enough. And he's just running wide open in the Steelers secondary. Ventrone, thank goodness he comes up and lays a lick on him. Got up shaking his arm. Maybe got a little bit of a stinger from that.
Niall Davis up the middle. Pretty good yardage there as he gets about 7. Davis was the man who returned that kickoff 109 yards after the Steelers scored on Gradkowski to Wheaton.
Davis looks like he may have gotten his bell rung just a hair. Ventrone came up again and lowered the boom.
Yeah. Petrone is a former undrafted player out of New England. He actually played at Pitt out of Chartiers Valley, if I recall, and he went to Villanova after that. And did not play football until his senior year of high school, but he's made quite an impact. Quite a move up. Chase Daniel now rolling right. Daniel's going to tuck it away and try to get some extra yardage, and he gets hit as he gets close to midfield. Chris Carter was there, as well as Brian Roll, linebacker for the Steelers, to make the hits. Gain of 12.
Chase Daniel showing some legs there, much like Alex Smith did early on. Turning it up, trying to get some yardage, but he's going to have to learn how to get on the ground quickly, because you will get your block knocked off in the NFL trying to do that.
Absolutely. Career at Missouri at 101 touchdowns. Was a very good player for the Mizzou program. Handoff Davis, who's still in the game. Not much there. Gets about a yard. Al Woods, we see 65 now, Edmund. He has done some nose tackle work. Originally that wasn't the case, but Al Woods is making his opportunities all over on that defensive line.
Well, Al, that's his versatility. I mean, he's a guy that can play every position. I know I was talking to John Mitchell at camp a couple of times, the defensive line coach and assistant head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he says that Al has that kind of versatility. You know, the first game that we had, Al had a big game, made some big plays at defensive end.
Davis once again gets some nice yardage as he crosses close to the 45-yard line.
Oddly enough, you have not seen Hebron Van Gupo, and you have not seen Alameda Teamu, which you kind of expect. Those are the more prototypical nose type players, and neither one of them have been in the game to my knowledge. Have you seen them in the
No, I have not yet. And Van Gupo out of BYU seemed to be doing some good things in camp. Now, you can't really tell here. We'll find out more after the first cut coming up this week, and then when they play Thursday night. Kansas City 2 for 9 on third down. They'll try it again here. Chase Daniel intercepted, and there is the pick by Jarvis Jones. He's been around that football quite a bit. It was deflected. We have a penalty flag down over here, but Jarvis Jones, now this is 3 games in which he's been involved in a turnover. He recovered a fumble, he forced one, and now with the interception, although he's hurt at the end of this play.
And he's still down. Hopefully he's okay, but that was definitely an interference call. A little bit of contact there prior to the ball getting there, and you have to really hope that that young man is healthy, because he's going to contribute to that Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Pass interference, defense number 35. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, first down.
So it's Josh Victorian who's coming up to make that play. Just got a little too anxious, made it before he was supposed to. The ball deflected into the air, into the waiting arms of Jarvis Jones, and it won't count.
Mike Tomlin all the way across the field. Ike Taylor all the way over there along with the Steeler training camp training staff.
We'll take a break. Good news, he's up. We'll be back after this. We're back. Steelers holding on to a 20-17 lead. Seem to have a turnover called back by penalty, Edmund.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There was contact. You could see it very clearly. A little bump right there. Just a bit early, but again, Jarvis Jones right there in the mix, getting an interception. And let's look at, well, we don't run it all the way to his injury, but Doc Yates and Doc Bradley down there taking a close look at the young fella. Seems to be all right, but they're going to check him out just the same.
Pressure now. He gets hit, does Daniel, but he throws the ball down the field. Contact there. Josh Victorian once again involved in that play. It falls incomplete. It was intended for A.J. Jenkins, the man they just acquired from San Francisco in the Jonathan Baldwin trade.
Josh Victorian is showing some speed on the outside, getting down the field. One-on-one, he's got him all by himself to the outside, works him into the sidelines. Little hand fighting there. Good no call.
Once again, Daniel delivers. This is to Devin Wiley. Wiley trying to get some extra yardage. Down close to the 30-yard line.
stop.
And here come the Chiefs again. Seems like they can't be stopped here. Of course, you kind of expected this with the high-powered offense coming in. They're going to put it in the air. Well, there's the architect.
They had their problems last year doing just about anything, so Andy Reid's the kind of guy who can get this stuff. I think it was good. He went to a team that needed help. He has now one off the hands of Junior Hemingway, and almost Shamarko Thomas picked it up, but it goes incomplete.
Shamarko, I think, had he been looking at the ball when it bounced out of receiver's hands, may have had a chance to grab that one. The ball hung in the air for a while. Shamarko making his presence felt last week at the Redskins game, coming in, causing a fumble. Well, that was a big hit.
Got to pull for a kid like Shamarko Thomas. Lost his mother to an undetected heart ailment, lost his father to a motorcycle accident. He is raising pretty much as a de facto parent his 5 other siblings. So there's a lot on his plate. He's playing for himself. He's playing for his family. And he is very focused in this camp. There's no doubt about it.
That's a beautiful thing, too, to have a young man that has that kind of responsibility, be able to come here and have the wherewithal to study and do what he needs to do to get where he wants to be so that he can support his family. And you know, all of his siblings are really pulling for him. Come on, Shamarko!
That's the first charge timeout.
Well, he has a good opportunity, Evan, because he's not in a position where he has to come right in and play immediately. When you have Ryan Clark and, as I said, Troy Polamalu, not to mention Carnell Lake and Rod Woodson back there in camp this year, you got a lot of knowledge, and he's like a sponge right now. He's absorbing it all. And hopefully he doesn't have to play a lot, because that means those other guys will be healthy and be playing every game.
Actually, I hope the opposite. I hope he gets in there a lot. I hope they save Troy Polamalu. I want Troy around for the stretch run, and this guy has to play, in my opinion.
This quarter, by the way, is brought to you by Cal U, home of one of the best football teams you're going to find. Here's Chase Daniel now throwing, and again, incomplete. Shamarko Thomas is there on Junior Hemingway, and Hemingway was looking for a flag. Shamarko says, and they make the play when they have to. We're going to take a break. Steelers protecting that 3-point lead at Heinz Field.
Save time, save money, stay healthy. Get started at highmarkhealthtools.com. By Xfinity, the future of awesome. By Pepsi, grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out there and live it. It's time to live for now. And by your Pittsburgh Hyundai dealers. Test drive a Hyundai car or crossover today.
It was 10-10 at halftime. Teams exchanging touchdowns. Gretkowski to Wheaton on a touchdown pass on a play action, followed immediately by a Niall Davis 109-yard kick return. Field goal now has the Steelers up 20-17, and that's where we are. Bruce Gretkowski under center, hands off to Baron Batch, and you would expect the Steelers to try to grind some clock as they go over the left side of that offensive line.
Have an opportunity to close the game out here, Bob. That would be a very nice drive for this second group, Baron Batch included, to close this game out, get out of here unscathed, everybody relatively healthy, get into that 4th preseason game where all the young guys are going to have a chance to debut and get a chance to look at their skills.
Saw Todd Haley, once the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, featured Jamal Charles quite a bit, and I'm sure Andy Reid will be doing that again this year. Pressure on, Sambo gets to Gretkowski, but Derek Moy slides away. Moy makes the quick hitter into a first down reception.
What a throw by Gretkowski. Look at this. He doesn't have a clear view, and he comes with the sidearm. Watch this little ball fake, and then he can't throw it there. Comes sidearmed almost.
First down, Steelers.
Moyer making the good catch and almost breaking it.
Joe Long,
first down.
Joe Long with a nice block there.
Yeah, it was.
Just to get a few extra yards for Derek Moy. And that was a great pickup there, Edmund, by you. Sidearm delivering. We saw last week Roethlisberger tried to go up top on Ryan Kerrigan. He's tall order. Here comes a blitzer. It's picked up. And now Zombo tries to get there, but he can't do it. Pass intended there for Moy falls incomplete. Kennard Cox was there.
There was Justin Brown wide open also. He kind of threw it in between, so you don't know whether it was for Moye or Justin, but Justin Brown was wide open. The ball was short. That would have made a big completion also. Justin Brown trying to find his way, the 6th round draft choice out of Oklahoma, the Boomer Sooner.
Started his career at Penn State, transferred to Oklahoma, so he's been in 2 big programs now, trying to hang on to this program. Jones in a linebacker makes the quick hit there on Baron Batch, who gets just a yard. So the Steelers moving forward. We haven't seen Isaac Redmond now for the 2nd straight game with that stinger. Dwyer got some work. We won't see Le'Veon Bell. Baron Batch is in. We haven't seen LaRod Stevens-Howling. So still for Todd Haley, a lot of different variables, and you're not sure how health will impact the final roster composition.
Right. You saw a shot of Le'Veon on crutches, and he has his boot on. He was on the sidelines in some shorts early on, and it's a guy that Todd Haley is really looking forward to see him in some live action. Unfortunately, doesn't look like we're going to see him until the regular season.
3rd and long for Gradkowski. More pressure. It's picked up. He fires down the field again, looking for Marcus Wheaton, and there was pretty good coverage there on the play by Jalil Brown, who's been matched up against Wheaton quite a bit, but Gradkowski likes that number 11. Brown is the injured chief. He was in coverage back there.
Kind of went to the ground and never got up. Looked like he might be cramping, but let's see if we can see anything here.
He got rolled up on by Wheaton, it looked like.
Yeah, kind of bounced up and was on his knees, and then next thing you know, he didn't get back up. He's reaching for that calf.
Jalil Brown's a 4th round pick a couple of years back out of Colorado. Worked his way up a little bit through this opportunity here. He was deeper on the depth chart. Now he backs up Brandon Flowers at cornerback.
Yeah, you can guys see them kind of keeping that toe up, trying to stretch out that calf. May have gotten a little bit of a cramp there. Hopefully that's all it is. Marcus Wheaton down there checking on him.
Steelers are hopeful they can get their receivers like Antonio Brown through a season without injury. Emmanuel Sanders has had a history of some foot injuries, although that has seemed to go right by. He seems fine right now, and both those guys are very important, as is Jericho Cotchery for this team, with Plexico Burris out for the season.
Well, Jericho Cotchery is a very good possession receiver, but as you see the emergence of Marcus Wheaton, now how is he going to fit in there? You know you have 3 top receivers, but if you go to 4 wide, certainly at this point you would think that Wheaton would be the 4th receiver in there. May work his way into being one of the top 3, but there's a guy that's going to have to be reckoned with, especially his speed. Now you have speed on both sides and at least 1 slot receiver, and then you have a bull of a receiver for your 4th receiver that can catch the stuff on the inside.
Jarvis Jones, by the way, has a chest injury, likely will not return. And we have a kick here to Frankie Hammond, who takes it at the 5-yard line. Hammond misses the first wave of action there and gets out to about the 19-yard line before the Steelers make that play. Alan Baxter, reserve linebacker, in on the tackle of the Drew Butler punt. And so Kansas City now goes to work with under 5 minutes left. Baxter stays on the field. Steelers have one more preseason game left. That's coming up Thursday night. We'll have it for you here on KDK. And then it's off to the races, and it starts with Tennessee at home right off the bat, though. There you go with the Cincinnati Bengals. James Harrison will be waiting in that jungle. And that will be, and then Chicago here is going to be a tough game. And then they go to London from Minnesota. But what about that Cincinnati game right off the bat?
That will certainly be a great test for the Steelers, kind of see where they are and where Cincinnati is. In Cincinnati, that's going to be a very, very tough game.
Jamar Newsom makes the reception over there. Penalty flag goes thrown.
A lot of yelling going on.
Devin Smith was in the middle of that.
Yeah.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 45 of the defense. 15 yards added the end of the play, first down.
It's Alan Baxter who made the play on the special teams, and now he gets caught for unnecessary roughness. We've had, 4 of those total in the game tonight.
Yeah, let's see what's going on. He gets wrapped up on the edge. All depends on where the whistle is. I don't see him stepping out yet. And, well, you don't want to go down. I mean, that's almost a spear, and that's exactly what the referee called at that time. You can push him. He was still up, but don't try to put your head on him.
Chase Daniel being chased down, but he gets it off. And it's a nice play right there as the Steelers brought the pressure And there you go with Sean Drone out of the backfield. First opportunity for him tonight as the Steelers came all out and they paid the price on that. Drone gains 14 yards.
Very nice execution there by Chase Daniel, allowing the rush to get almost on him and then letting it go to the screen. Very well set up. The blocking's out there in front and a nice gainer. Nearly stepped out of that last tackle and took it to the house.
Now Daniel's going to keep it himself, being pursued there by Terrence Garvin, the linebacker out of West Virginia, who finally catches up to him, but a short gain there for Chase Daniel.
Well, now Chase, now you do you make a good play on that last play, and then you want to get out there and be a running back. I've put one warning out there for Chase Daniel about running the football. That's all I'm going to do. No more warnings. There's no place to hide. You see him trying to get on the ground. He's trying to find a place to lay down quick.
Well, Daniel is the backup. They still have Tyler Bray, who they brought in undrafted from Tennessee, and Ricky Stanzi, who's a leftover from the Scott Pioli regime. Those two are going to battle to be a third quarterback. Daniel now, happy feet right now, trying to figure out where to go. He gets out of the original pressure there, but eventually it's Keon Wilson who comes up to make that play at his linebacker spot.
Nearly a sack. Might have gained a yard there. Good pressure by the Steelers defensive front. Little fire X going in there, a little crisscross by the linebackers. See number 48 in there, Keon Wilson. Everybody's trying to get a piece. Vince Williams. Huge play for the defense at this point.
3rd down and 5. They stopped the Chiefs on a 4th down moments earlier. Here comes pressure. Daniel goes to the outside and he has his man. And that's Shoemaker, Tyler Shoemaker out of Boise State, who gets the first down yardage before he steps out of bounds.
And now the Kansas City Chiefs have moved into field goal position, albeit a long field goal try, but they still have plenty of time to go. 2:42 on the clock. Possible tying field goal or go ahead touchdown. The Steelers really have to dig deep. The young guys.
Thrown, wrapped up there by Garvin, who made a nice play. Was not going to be deked by the spin move, and Terrence Garvin comes up and makes that play.
You have to watch some of these young Steeler linebackers that have been making plays. Brian Rowe, Garvin, Williams, Wilson. These are guys that could challenge a Stevenson, Silvestri. You know, Stevenson's been banged up a lot during his career, and this was probably a time that he could look at as being like the first backup coming off the bench playing linebacker every day. But these young guys can step in, they can play special teams. Just got to watch them.
So there's the pass. Daniels right on the mark there, and that's first down yardage once again. And this one goes to Kevin Brock, the tight end out of Rutgers University, in front of Shamarko Thomas. Talking about the linebackers, one of the reasons why they got rid of Adrian Robinson is because of these guys, and they felt they could make him expendable. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Steelers trying to protect that lead. We are back, 2 minutes left, as the Steelers have a 3-point lead, 20-17, but the Kansas City Chiefs are marching as they now have a first down and 10 at the Steeler 12-yard line, and Chase Daniel trying to get the winning points here at quarterback. He has a new cast of characters in there right now as Andy Reid is going to take a look at a lot of guys in the receiving game. Daniel in the shotgun. And he goes out to Cyrus Gray. Cyrus Gray is knocked out of bounds by Williams, the linebacker for the Steelers. Very short game.
Several black shirts over there. The young linebackers getting over there making sure there's nothing doing. Trying to get the swing pass out there.
Very short gain now. Second down for Daniel. Pressure up the middle, and he's going to go down. Originally, Al Woods put the pressure on, but it's Mr. Baxter who got called for the roughing penalty. Alan Baxter comes through with the sack right there. Pressure by Woods.
Little pressure right up the middle. Woods has him and lets him go, but Baxter there to clean him up.
30-second timeout.
Very nice pass rush. That was very much needed by Pittsburgh Steelers defensive front. Cameron Hayward, it's time for him to make a play as well. Getting some action here late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he really needs to pick up his game, in my opinion. They expect a lot when you're #1 pick.
That's right.
Man, when you watched him at Ohio State, you saw a guy who was dominant in the Big Ten, and he just not translated well. He lost some weight coming into this camp, Edmund. You know, playing on the defensive line today, you got to be,
gotta have a little beef.
Athleticism.
Yeah.
He felt he was overweight last year, so he lost about 15. He looks better, but you got to see it on the field so far. It's not been as consistent as they would like.
Yeah, has not been awful, but has not been the kind of impact player that you expect from a first rounder. Was having a pretty good camp. Made some plays in the first preseason game, but has tapered off a little.
10th play of the drive coming up. That was a loss of 10 on the Allen Baxter sack of Chase Daniel. Daniel now barking out signals. The crowd who's left here comes to life as the Steelers trying to hang on to this one. Daniel, again, under pressure. Williams with a nice play on block right there. There's a penalty flag down, but I don't know if it's near that play, but a nice play by the Steelers. Vince Williams out of Florida State, this year's 6th round pick.
There's all kind of motion down here at the bottom. May have been a legal procedure, just don't know at this point.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 47. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
And now what do you do if you're Andy Reid? You bring on the field goal unit and tie and get the proverbial overtime in preseason, and here they come.
Oh, let's not do that.
Mike Tomlin's up there like, oh my.
Well, the Steelers have a chance to change that. There's still plenty of time left for them to move down the field. Right. If Ryan Suckup is good here. And this will be a 38-yard field goal for the veteran. Suckup, who missed one here last year in a meaningful game that would have given the Chiefs a win, makes good on this one, and we are tied at 20 apiece with 1:32 left. So Andy Reid trying to get his team going. Neither of these teams has won a game yet, both 0-2. Got a lot of performances here from a lot of young guys, but we'll see what the Steelers could do now with the response. 1:37 left. And what is now a battle of the backup quarterbacks as Bruce Gradkowski will get his opportunity.
I was kind of watching Mike Tomlin as he paced down the sidelines. He had this look on his face like, I do not believe this. But his team has an opportunity. Return the kickoff here or a nice little drive. Set it up with a field goal. And there's Danny Smith, who's had a rocky start with his special teams play. This could make it all feel a little bit better, Bob, if this were a return for a touchdown right here.
Or at least give him in field goal position right off the bat. But Danny Smith, right, it's a work in progress, like we said. And there have been a lot of mistakes on special teams that need to be cleaned up before the start of the season. Conversely, Kansas City has taken advantage of their new special teams coach in from Chicago, and they have made plays. They've had 3 returns for touchdowns now in this preseason, a blocked field goal here tonight, all of which have helped them in scoring plays. Reggie Dunn, number 13, is back, and he is going to say, yes, here's my turn to do what Niall Davis did. Reggie Dunn to the 20, Reggie Dunn to the 30, Reggie Dunn to the 35 before he's knocked down by Wiley from behind. But that's why they like Reggie Dunn. And he's a kid who can make things happen out of Utah.
Oh, that was some speed there. One guy had a shot at him coming from the right side. And Reggie Dunn just outran him. Watch this. Coming from the right side of your screen and just cannot get to him. And he turns it up. And if he doesn't have to get into a little bit of traffic there and finds a seam, he would have been gone.
45 yards on that one. Bruce Gradkowski now trying to do what Chase Daniel just did. He's going down the sideline looking for, but not finding Marcus Wheaton once again. Tough coverage right there down the field, and it falls incomplete.
Marcus Wheaton had no idea where the ball was trying to locate it. Ball, I think, was thrown behind him a little bit. Never saw it in the air.
Gradkowski seems to really like having number 11 on his side if he gets into a game. He's gone to him quite a bit tonight. They do have a touchdown strike together. Steelers actually Could have had another touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders had one, but Brandon Flowers kind of jarred it loose in the end zone if you missed it earlier. Here comes pressure. Frank Zombo almost gets to Gronkowski. This is almost intercepted over there by Kansas City's secondary, but it just falls incomplete. Once again, Wheaton and Kennard Cox, man out of the University of Pittsburgh, has been a pretty active man here tonight.
Gronkowski takes a shot here. Bounce right up. Might not get a chance to see it right here, but boy, did he take
Zombo was in there again.
Oh boy, he's a nasty guy.
And now third down for Gronkowski. Again, it's Zombo around Joe Long, but he picks him up for the second time, goes underneath Jeremy Wright out of the backfield. Wright is first possession of the night, and he gets out across the 40, but it will be shy of the first down, which precipitates a punting situation. And Kansas City is going to try to get it back and win the game.
Timeout, Kansas City. Their third and final charge timeout. It's 30 seconds in link. Reset the play clock to 1:08.
Andy Reid's not messing around, and he wants results.
That's absolutely right.
This is a guy who's had results in Philadelphia. You can't say enough about the career he had there, and he came into a team that was desperate for success. And as I said before, through the years 2002 through 05, 4 NFC East championships, 4 NFC championship games. Just couldn't get them beyond that.
Saw them in the Super Bowl against New England. They ran into a buzzsaw. T.O. had broken his ankle early in the year and came back. And everybody thought he wasn't going to be able to be an impact player, and wound up being the best player on the field, and then accusing his quarterback at that time was Donovan McNabb of being out of shape. Remember that? That got kind of ugly there. Really for a while.
All right, Drew Butler now with a punt. Frank Hammond is back to field it for Kansas City, and this is a very returnable punt. Over the 20-25 out to the 30-yard line, and Danny Smith won't like that one because potentially it could have gone even for a bigger return. Hammond makes the play. Kansas City has some time to get things done. Just under a minute left with Chase Daniel on the field.
A little bit of a low punt there by Drew Butler, too. Locked in a battle. He and Brian Moorman trying to get that last spot, that punter's position. You want to kick that one deep, pin the guys back.
Big night for Daniel coming in. Most action he's seen this preseason, 11 for 17, 128. Now just looking for more yardage to get Ryan Succop another try. Play action. He steps up. He's trying to get away. Cannot. Terrence Garvin and Cam Hayward combine on the Steelers sandwich right there.
And there's a sack.
Chiefs do not have timeouts remaining.
Hayward getting in on a sack. There's a half sack for the young man.
Timeout. Pittsburgh, their second. 30-second timeout.
And now Coach
So
Tomlin pays
all right.
That's right. That's right. We're going to try to end this in regulation, guys. We're going to try to get the football back, save some time. Maybe get a deep pass.
Well, these linebackers, we talked about them, Edmund, and a lot of these guys are making impressions for the Steelers. You look at Marshall McFadden, he hasn't played all that much tonight, but Keon Wilson, Terrence Garvin, we called his name, Alan Baxter. Chris Carter's a guy we need to call more of, quite frankly. More pressure now from the outside. Again, it collapses. The ball is loose, but it looks like Chase Daniels fell upon it, and Kansas City maintains possession unless something happened at the bottom of that pile. But he was hit from behind. The ball came out. Clock continues to run now. And boy, that would have been a big play for this young group of linebackers and Steeler defense.
That ball came out. Another sack. Boom. Ball is out, and Chase Daniel just happens to be there and grabs it.
Their third and final charge timeout. 30 seconds in link. Reset the game clock to 35
and guess
seconds.
who? Alan Baxter just got through talking about him, Bob. Coming around that left edge. Slapping that ball loose. That's exactly what the Steelers have been used to from Lamar Woodley and James Harrison. And now some of these young linebackers have to step up, and you're starting to see it. Jarvis Jones making the play every week, and then these young guys when they get their opportunity, they've been showing that they want to play.
Alan Baxter had a very productive college career, 31 tackles for losses, 16 career sacks. As I said, this Adrian Robinson, and who I think Philadelphia really likes, and he came in undrafted last year, made an impression. In fact, he had a touchdown this year here in our first preseason game when he recovered the fumble in the end zone, the fumble. But we'll see how he does in Philadelphia as Felix Jones got off to a pretty nice start here tonight for the Steelers. Play action again, pressure Al Woods of the this time again. There it is, another sack, and this time it's going to be Keon Wilson who comes up out of South Florida, and these linebackers are getting after it for the Steelers late in this game.
On cue, the young linebackers, one after the other, makes play after play after play. 3 big sacks in a row. Terrence Garvin got away with a hold out here on the outside. He just grabs it back. See him just grab him and throw it to the ground. Like, you are not getting out into a route. Not today. Great play there.
Keon Wilson was undrafted with San Diego back 3 years ago.
At the end of regulation.
So now the clock runs down and we have hit the end of regulation. And it is 20-20. So just what you needed.
Absolutely.
Extra football, and I'm sure the coaches like it. There's one part of it they like. They're going to see more guys play in pressure situations, and we'll see what happens from that. But in case you missed it, the Steelers really have never trailed in this game. They had a 10-0 lead. Kansas City tied it back up. Steelers took the lead on a Gradkowski to Marcus Wheaton touchdown, only to watch seconds later Niall Davis, a 109-yard kickoff return. Boom, it was tied. And then 2 more field goals along the way. Captains have to come out again, and Ben Roethlisberger saying, you know, Tom Ali saying, we got a plane to catch. It's our second treasure hunt coin toss.
All right, gentlemen.
You get more for your diamonds and your jewelry, I'm telling you, at treasure hunt.
Each team will have 2 timeouts. All replays are upstairs. The first team that scores a touchdown or a safety wins. Otherwise, if a team kicks a field goal, the other team, on the first possession, the other team must have the opportunity to possess the football. All right, you ready? That's the heads. That's the tails. What is your call? Heads is the call. It is a head. You want the ball? Are you sure? All right. That way, all right. Kansas City will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
Ben Roethlisberger says, are you sure you want the ball?
There'll be no deferring here, I can tell you that.
No. So that's the treasure hunt coin toss. 2 of them in one game. And as you heard, new rules, they came into a play last year. Touchdown safety wins the game immediately. Otherwise, if you kick a field goal, you have to defend. We'll be back with overtime from Heinz Field next. We are back. Bob Pompiani, Edmund Nelson, Jeff Frisella with you. We're headed to overtime. The Chiefs score a field goal late to tie it. Get the ball back, but can't move the ball. And so here we are, 20-20, and the Chiefs have won the toss, the treasure hunt coin toss, and they will receive this kick by Sean Sweesum. Back deep is Frankie Hammond, number 85. Up back is Cyrus Gray, number 32. Field position has been a problem with Kansas City, all except for once tonight on the 109-yard kickoff return by Niall Davis. This is going to be also returned, and it's taken by Hammond at the 10. Hammond to the 20, Hammond to the outside, gets good field position before the pads pop at the 29-yard line, and that's where Kansas City will take over.
Just because it's overtime doesn't mean they're going to stop hitting, isn't that right? Wow, you could hear those pads popping out there.
All right, Kansas City goes to work. Chase Daniel, once again, who orchestrated the last field goal drive. Interesting, Edmund. Kickers in the break, both sides went out to try to practice quick, and the official said, no, you can't do that. Can't get on the field, can't do that. And they were escorted off the field.
Chased him right off of there.
All right, Daniel. Handoff, and Shamarko Thomas up from his safety spot, hits Cyrus Gray immediately. There is that explosion you talk about with the 4th-round pick out of Syracuse University.
Well, there's not going to be any let-up out here on the Steeler defensive side. So Kansas City, they're going to need to pass that ball down the field and get something going. As one of their great coaches, Hank Stram, used to say, you got to matriculate the ball down the field.
There's a short pass completion right over there to Frankie Hammond. who's in the game now. Kick returner getting his opportunity. Short gain to set up third down. And about 5 for the Steelers to get off the field and get the ball back.
Third down.
Josh Bellamy comes in the game now for Kansas City. Haven't seen him too much. Out of Louisville University.
Center Thomas is up and covering the slot one-on-one.
He's got that ability to do it. We've seen that in camp. Now we have a timeout called by the Steelers.
Timeout. Pittsburgh, their first. Be a 30-second timeout.
Kansas City has a kid from Cal U. We've been talking about Cal U tonight. He's their center, number 52, Eric Cush from Bridgeville. We have 2 Chartiers Valley High School kids on the field tonight. Eric Cush is one of them. There he is right there. We told you about Ross Vitrone.
From Bridgeville, no kidding.
Yeah, 2 of them. And Cal U making them proud tonight. 6th round pick, so he impressed a lot of people to be drafted at all. That's one thing about today. People will find you. Scouts know where you are. Doesn't matter where you go. Cal U has such a great program, though. They've used it for years.
Great
and
football
they keep
team.
churning out winning programs.
And they have a lot of talent. A lot of talent that comes out of that school.
Kevin Brock checks into the game now. Number 46 for Kansas City. We're operating in overtime. 3rd and 5, a big play for the Steeler defense. These young rookie linebackers, second-year linebackers, have been pretty active so far tonight, making life tough on Chase Daniel. And they'll try to chase him down again. More pressure. This time he steps up. Al Woods gets away from him. Does Daniels. He turns it up, and finally it's Vince Williams who catches him from behind, and they're calling for a horse collar tackle there. And the flag goes up, and you could very well have a horse collar on Vince Williams, who pursued after Woods missed. And we'll see what they call.
Certainly had his hand back there. I don't know if that was the initial pull down, and that's what they're discussing right now. Watch this. He grabs him back there by the shoulder pad, and he also has him by the waist. That's what they're discussing then. Now, was that a horse collar, or can that be a no call?
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle on the defense. 15 yards added to the end of the play. First down.
Well, boy, they had Chase Daniel, and his speed and elusive ability allowed Al Woods to miss him on that play, and that's what led to the Williams pursuit and the penalty.
Yeah, Al has to make that tackle in the backfield. That was a big play. And there's been a Fangupo sighting. He's at nose tackle.
Hebron Fangupo, number 92 in the middle right now. Daniel with a handoff to Cyrus Gray. Terrence Garvin again. Nice pursuit there, although Gray dragged him for a few extra yards.
Got dragged for quite a few yards, actually. As in 4, you got to really wrap up, Bob, and be fundamentally sound. Drive those legs. Get him on the ground. Fangupo got doubled that time and got pushed off the ball a little bit.
Second down for Daniel, this time from the shotgun. More pressure he delivers, and the pressure causes the incompletion. He goes to Shoemaker, but Vince Williams there in coverage as it falls incomplete. The Steelers are just coming after him right now at all costs.
Yeah, it's just throw everything in the kitchen sink. You want to get Chase Daniel rattled. Maybe he'll throw a pick. You know, they're very close, about another 10 yards. They'll be in field goal position, so the Steelers really have to buck up. Look at the pressure coming right up the middle. That's a good move. Number 48, Keon Wilson, the good move, the swim move over the running back.
All right, changing the play at the line of scrimmage is Daniel. Again, pressure. He rolls to his right. He's looking outfield. He tucks it away, and Daniel's going to get first down yardage as he's pursued by Alan Baxter, but there is a flag over here near side.
Number 74 of the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Jeff Schwartz.
As Chase was trying to break the pocket, look at the hole on the right. Big Jeff Schwartz on the right side. Once Chase breaks the pocket, now let him go, let him go, let him go. Nope, he didn't let him go. Well, then he let him go, but it's a little too late. Holding.
Third down and long now. So would have been first down yardage. Those are killer penalties. 9 for the Steelers, 8 for Kansas City as we play in overtime, tied at 20. Both teams winless in preseason. Both teams had a pretty inspired first half here with the regulars. Daniel up the middle, shows you his speed. Look at him go now. Daniel to the 30-29 before he gets down. Robert Golden gets credit for that tackle, but a nice, quick move by Chase Daniel, who's being chased out of the pocket, and he showed the Jets to get the first down.
You know, I don't think he had any intentions of passing the ball. I think this was a quarterback draw. A couple of steps back and then didn't even really look downfield that much, just took off and got enough for the first down. That's a huge play by the Kansas City Chiefs. They want to end this thing right now. Never got the ball back to his shoulder to throw it, did he, Bob? He just kind of took off and ran with it.
And up now, and it goes to Sean Drone, who moves up the middle of the pile there to about the 25-yard line. You can see why New Orleans, you know, they had Chase Daniel. Originally he was with the Skins. New Orleans liked him a lot, wanted to keep him, but Kansas City needed a backup. They went out and gave him a lot of money to be a backup, 3 years, $10 million.
That is a lot of money.
He's a two-time Heisman Trophy candidate, Chase Daniel. Rolling right. Daniel with time now. He evades the pressure. And he goes, and that's almost intercepted by Robert Golden. They were going for Kevin Brock. But Daniel seemed to be confused at a second there, and he just dumped it almost into the hands of Robert Golden.
Chase Daniel has great feet. I mean, he has really good feet, and he's really quick. When he makes up his mind, he can turn it on. He's probably a sub 4.7, close to a 4.6 40 guy. He can really move.
All right, third down now and 6. As the crowd comes to life, the Steelers steel drum is cranking it up here, as they've done in all these games. Daniel now. Zips it, has a man. Nice tackle on the play by the Steelers. That's going to get to the 20-yard line. It'll be short. And the receiver's injured on the play. Can't tell if it was Freddie Hammond right there. Devin Smith made the hit.
That'll make it 4th and 1, and there's some thought given to whatever they want to do right here. Andy Reid's kind of checking the spot.
Kick it.
Letting the clock run a little bit.
Kick it and end it if you're Andy Reid. You got Ryan Succop, who's pretty good at this. And he's going to call timeout.
Timeout.
That's right. We won't end. What am I saying? Kick it, won't end it. You got to field goals. I'm still in.
Yeah, you got to come to us. Come with us. Back to the future.
Yeah, that's right. Kick it, and then the Steelers have to. So if you're Andy Reid, you may want to go for it then and keep this going. Why not?
Well, they've done everything else tonight. You might as well go for it. He went for it on 4th and 1 from his own 21 or so.
Yeah, that was a peculiar play early in the game, and he must have seen something that he liked. It said it looked like a Bill Belichick kind of play, although Belichick does it in regular season games, which is.
Although that close to your end zone, I don't know if Belichick would even do that.
Well, he did it in Indianapolis, if you recall. There was a game there where.
Was he down that close?
Yeah, it was.
21-yard
it
line?
was in his own territory, very deep, and can't remember the exact yardage on that play, but he did go for it.
And it looks like
so
they
now,
might be going for it here.
They're 0 for 2 on 4th down. This is the 10th play of the drive. And again, a field goal will not end it. It gives Kansas City a lead. And by new rule, obviously dating back to last year, the Steelers will get an opportunity. So they're going to try to get first down and keep it moving here. And it's a pitch to Shane Drone. Drone gets first down yardage. And Vince Williams wraps him up. But a nice sweep play with some lead blockers. And it works to perfection.
I don't quite understand why Andy Reid would call a timeout to run that play, but apparently he thought he needed to, and it was successful. Just a student body left. See the blockers out front, plenty of blockers. I always wonder why offensive linemen, when they're out there, why they're kind of just looking around thinking, okay, I know I'm supposed to block somebody, but I think the running back's going to get to my outside. It never happens that way. Go block somebody. Find somebody.
Braden Wilson was the guy who threw that block, and he's a guy that Andy Reid thought was the best fullback on the draft board this year. Here's Drone again. Drone to the 15-yard line. As Kansas City gets closer, but again, they'd like to win it right here with a touchdown.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. And who could blame him? You don't want to You risk more injury here as you move forward here. These games go longer, but field goals will not end it. 2nd and 8 now for KC. Daniel in the flat. Gray incomplete. A lot of pressure, and it falls incomplete.
Well played there by the Steeler defense.
Robert Golden's a guy who's opened some eyes too. Out of Arizona, undrafted last year. I think they really liked him. He was here, carry over to this camp. Gives him a little bit of depth back there. Third down, 8 now. Kansas City only 5 for 16 on 3rd down. Daniels going to look into the end zone, has a man wide open, and that is a touchdown. And it's the rookie Rico Richardson out of Jackson State. Rico Richardson has opened some eyes in this camp. He was the Southwest Athletic Conference Player of the Year, and he comes up big with a touchdown as the Chiefs win it on a touchdown on their first possession in overtime.
Nice route going to the outside. And this was a great drive by Chase Daniel. That's a very nice throw. Not a whole lot of coverage there by Robert Golden in a chase mode.
71 yards, 13 plays, only possession in overtime. They thought about maybe kicking a field goal, giving the Steelers a chance, but then said, let's just keep going. And they did, and they score. And Daniel delivers the touchdown pass to Rico Richardson, and that ends it here tonight at Heinz Field. So the final, 26-20, Steelers. Now 0-3 in the preseason. We'll be back with a final thought as the coaches say hi to one another. We'll be back right here on KDKA.